the Alabama players out of the dugout, trying to prove a point that they can play in this ring.
Strike three. Alabama with their first national championship. It's a beautiful night for softball in Oklahoma City. A packed house is expected for Game 1 of the championship series in Hall of Fame Stadium. The Oklahoma Sooners were here a year ago. They lost in the final to Alabama. They are the prohibitive favorites to come back and win the championship this year. They will face the Tennessee Lady Vols, who are relishing the role of the underdog. They are here in the finals for the second time in school history.
In softball, it's all about timing. Timing swings, timing pitches, the time it takes to get from A to B.
Tennessee is very well coached and very well balanced. They play the game the right way, and we respect that very much.
I just respect their power, and I respect their speed, and obviously I respect their pitching.
For Oklahoma, the time for redemption is now.
Leave what happened last year behind us. If anything, we use it as positive fuel going into this series.
Kind of revenge almost, but I know that we don't want the feeling of losing the championship game again.
Standing in their way, Tennessee, whose time is running short.
You know, I always love being the underdog, even growing up, because there's no pressure. I mean, you just go out there and play. When you're down to the last two teams in the country, you're going to have to play your best softball to walk away with the trophy.
It's Game 1, best 2 out of 3 for the 7-seed Tennessee. They're trying to become the lowest seeded team to ever win the national championship. And the 1-seed Oklahoma, they have been in the top spot since the opening week of this season, all the way back in February. And we welcome you to Game 1 of the championship series in Oklahoma City. I'm Beth Mullins. Got a couple of Olympic gold medalists with me, Michelle Smith and Jessica Mendoza. Holly Rowe will also be joining us momentarily. Jess, let's start out with this Oklahoma team that a lot of people are saying could be one of the best in the history of the sport. Of course, they've got to win the title first, but they certainly seem to have all the tools.
Yeah, when I think about all the tools, of course the tool that jumps out to me is offense. And you look at Oklahoma and they have it all. They have the power. They have the speed, they have the ability to move runners 60 feet, 26 hits, 23 runs, so many records here at the World Series. And it starts with the very top of their lineup. Lauren Chamberlain packs a punch. She's got 29 home runs. In fact, she's hit already 2 here. Just such a buzz when she comes up to bat. And Kaylani Ricketts, we'll talk about her pitching, but she can also swing it. In fact, she's in the cleanup spot. But you get to my favorite part of this lineup, and that's the bottom 3. Brianna Terang in the 9th spot. You also have Destiny Martinez and Callie Parsons. Those 3 can do it all, and you talk about tools. You got every single one of them in this lineup.
And it's a confident Tennessee team that's coming in, Michelle. They're not going to run and hide from that lineup. In fact, their plan is to attack it with their stealth pitcher in the circle, Ellen Renfro.
Well, and the way you attack is to have a pitching tool. And so you have to come out and have a great pitching circle, but you also have to be able to pitch from ahead, and that's exactly what Ellen Renfro does. She will throw the ball through the zone when she needs to. A great rise ball and drop ball combination. So she will throw strikes through the zone, but she gets great hitters to chase pitches out of the zone, and that is really what Ellen Renfro is going to have to do against a very strong Oklahoma offense.
Her coaches say she is throwing the best ball of her career. At the end of her junior season, she's 2-0 with a save here at the Women's College World Series. And let's take a look at the Capital One starting lineups for the visitors from Tennessee.
Well, not only does Raven Siobhan lead off this team, she leads their team in almost every offensive category. So much speed. Then you got Kat Dodson, who's got 3 RBIs, the most on this team in that 2 spot. She can do it all. And then Lauren Gibson, right after her, she's leading the team in home runs, 19. In fact, she hit one yesterday to get them into this championship game versus Texas.
Then in the 4th spot, it's Madison Shipman with 60 RBI on the season, followed by the DP, Cheyenne Tarango. Melissa Davin is returning from a broken hand to play out in left field, followed by first baseman Melissa Brown, who was in left. She'll play first today. Hannah Akamine hitting .333 behind the plate, and Tori Lewis, the game-winning RBI in their win against Washington over the weekend. and they will be facing Kaylani Ricketts, the two-time National Player of the Year. Kaylani coming in with a record of 34-1. She's 7-0 already in the NCAA tournament. As we check out the Plan for Success presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Well, Kaylani Ricketts really is just throwing her best softball right now. You're going to see her throw very high velocity, 68 to 72 miles an hour. Her best combination is going to be her crop, her curve drop, and a backdoor curveball. But the key for Kaylani, it comes down to control, and she must mix. She's got to change speeds, keep the ball on the corners, and work from ahead.
First pitch of our championship series, in for a strike. None of the Lady Vols have been this deep into the tournament. Just about everybody for Oklahoma was here a year ago. They took game 1 of the championship series and then lost the next 2 to Alabama and lost out on the championship. Raven Siobhan, the lefty slapper, gets her first look at the crop duster, that drop curve so lethal from Kaylani Ricketts. And sees it again. The strikeout takes care of Raven Siobhan, 1 down. Here is the defensive alignment for the Oklahoma Sooners. Shelby Penley will be critical at third. She had some problems yesterday at the plate and took it back out onto the field with her. She owned up to it when we had a chance to speak with her earlier. Said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing here, I stunk last night and I've got to be better for my teammates. I want to go back out there tonight and prove that that was not me. Playing third base and striking out 3 times.
And her teammates had her back too, saying, you know, we've seen Shelby and like everyone struggle throughout the season. And they said, I'll tell you what though, that next game, every time Shelby does struggle, she always comes out and seems to have her best game.
Back-to-back strikeouts. And another crop duster from Kaylani, 2 down. Patty Gasso, the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners in her 19th season, won the national championship the very first time they came here back in 2000. And now their 8th trip to the series. Oh, so close to the title last year. A bitter defeat in that game 3. This is Lauren Gibson, the SEC Player of the Year. Change up from Ricketts. That one's about 20 miles an hour slower than the heat she throws. Another drop curve from Ricketts.
On Ricketts, she throws the ball with great velocity, and when you throw that changeup in the mix as well, it's nearly unhittable.
And comes back with the off speed. Gibson just got a piece.
And you look at the way she sells the pitch, and she moves it from high to low down through the zone. Gibson, a good job to get a piece of that.
Kaylani Ricketts on her game to start out this championship series. 3 strikeouts against the lefties, using the crop duster every time. Welcome back to game 1 of the championship series. Tennessee going down in order in the top of the first. Oklahoma set to go. Let's take a look at the Capital One starting lineup for the Sooners.
Well, it starts off with the punch. Lauren Chamberlain, 29 home runs, 82 RBIs on the season, and there is a buzz in the air every time she comes up to bat.
She is followed in the 2 spot by Georgia Casey, a member of the Australian national team. Then Penley, the Big 12 Player of the Year. And if that's not enough, here comes Ricketts, the 2-time National Player of the Year. The designated player is Brittany Williams, followed by Jessica Schultz, who's hitting over 500 in the World Series, and then the 3 lefties at the bottom.
Yeah, the triple threat of speed, starting with Destiny Martinez, then going into Callie Parsons next, who's got 4 RBI already this World Series. And Brianna Terang, we've seen her speed, but she's got those 5 runs. Watching her run the bases is a lot of fun.
And they will be facing Ellen Renfro, the junior right-hander from Jackson, Tennessee. Renfro, a first-team All-America last year and coming back strong with another solid season this year, and in particular, Michelle, in this postseason.
Yeah, she's just an outstanding pitcher, and the Northwest Mutual planning for success is that she needs to attack. She needs to go right at Oklahoma. She's going to throw the ball at 63 to 64 miles per hour. She's got great command of a rise ball, screwball, curveball combination, but really the key is to attack. You have to work from ahead and mix speeds.
And you jump right into the deep end of the pool, facing Lauren Chamberlain here in the leadoff. The sophomore out of Trabuco Canyon, California, told us earlier she didn't really get serious about playing softball until her sophomore year in high school. And she realized, yeah, getting a college scholarship, that'd be kind of cool. It sure is, especially for Sooner fans. Renfro nibbles at the outside part of the plate, 1-2. Her home run yesterday in the semis bumped her up to 29 on the season, and a new single-season Big 12 RBI record with 82 on the year. And Chamberlain pops it up. Shipman calling for it. 1 down. Checking out the defense for the Tennessee Lady Vols. Melissa Davin broke her hand back on May 4th, the last weekend of the regular season. She has not played, didn't play rather, through the regionals and the super regionals, and has come back to hit here in the World Series. And now today back out in the field for the first time, playing left field. Melissa Brown has moved in from left to play first base. One of the more versatile talents. Brown has spent a lot of time at first throughout the season. Georgia Casey rips one foul. This Tennessee D, by the way, had 4 players on the All-SEC defensive team, so they have been nails behind the Renfro sisters in the circle. Runners-up in the SEC this year. And the Oklahoma Sooners coming in here, champions of the Big 12 Conference. 55-4 on the year. Casey fouls that back. Georgia's been swinging a real hot bat here in Oklahoma City over the weekend.
And Tennessee respecting that. Look at the left side. Look how far back Shipman and Siobhan are.
Renfro drops that one off the table. 2 down. They are the husband and wife combo, Ralph and Karen Weekly, the co-head coaches at Tennessee. Over 600 wins together. 5 trips to the Women's College World Series. This their second time in the finals. And they came here in '07 with Monica Abbott, and they were the favorite. They come back this time as the underdog. And boy, have they been playing it up, guys. They've been talking about the movie 300. One of their favorites is Hoosiers. They were dropping quotes from The Miracle on Ice. And the team has really embraced that mentality here, playing just, half an hour from the Norman campus of the Sooners. They love Hoosiers so much. When you make a nice player, you're the player of the game. You get a JC, a Jimmy Chitwood, the legendary shooter at Hickory from the movie Hoosiers.
And I think the other thing that was impressive too is the Weeklies last night. They brought the team into the stands when Oklahoma was playing and sat them down and said, I want you to embrace this atmosphere. Learn to enjoy that energy and then step out on the field tomorrow night with your own energy to counter it.
Renvo facing Shelby Penley, who really struggled to try and hit the screwball yesterday in the semifinals. Tremendous numbers during the regular season for Penley, the Big 12 Player of the Year.
Well, and Beth, we saw Shelby yesterday against Washington. They literally just stuck with the outside part of the plate, and that screwball, she was unable to make those adjustments. So I imagine Tennessee wanting to probably do much of the same, stick with that part of the plate. And in talking with Penley, she said, you know, I just really need to shorten up. She got out, hit early this morning, trying to make those physical adjustments. But Smitty, you know, even this late in the season, a lot of that more has to do with the mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talk with her about those adjustments, what are you going to work on? And Trip McKay, the hitting coach, says we like to make big adjustments because then you can quickly get the job done on what you need to. Get the front foot down early. That's what she's working on. Front foot down early, steady the hands and eyes.
Grounds to Shipman. The Lady Vols said, we feel OU's presence. We've got to make them feel ours. Steady in the first.
Welcome back to Oklahoma City, where Tennessee and OU are scoreless. Well, for this Sooner softball team, they admitted that at times this season, the weight of expectation and disappointment from last year's loss in the championship season settled on their shoulders, particularly their pitcher, Kaylani Ricketts. But that all changed on May 20th when an F5 tornado touched down too close to home, just 6 miles from their softball field. Kaylani said she learned of a little team where a pitcher just like her was killed in that storm, 9-year-old Sydney Angle. She was a Kaylani Ricketts fan and looked up to Kaylani. So they invited the team to come and run on the field and play with the Sooners. Kaylani said seeing that joy and that exuberance has changed her mindset for this postseason. She said it started out as something to be a blessing for that team who had lost their friend, but it's turned into a blessing for us so that we could relax. Their little Batgirl in their dugout tonight is Sydney's little sister, Casey, and she is bringing joy to this Sooner team. They've all said it's put life in perspective. They realize that it is just a game, and they're playing for more than the Oklahoma on the front of their jersey. They're playing for the entire state.
And they have replaced the OU on the front of their helmets with Sydney's number 35 and the outline of the state of Oklahoma with the word home on it. Certainly a pleasant distraction for Sooner fans to be able to come out and watch the softball team step away from the harsh reality for a little while. Unfortunately, tornadoes returned over the weekend, and many of the teams here at the World Series were forced to go underground. A tornado almost came right through downtown Oklahoma City. So all the teams had to pause and reflect, and these two teams managed to stay focused on the field and get into the championship series. One-two from Ricketts, and Shipman grounds it to Casey. Got a piece of the backdoor curve. One down after Ricketts had struck out the side in the first.
Well, I think that's where you see the transition from lefties to righty. First 3 batters of this lineup, lefty, 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 strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Madison Shipman, the first of the righties, able to get a piece. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Here's another righty. In fact, 2 in a row coming up. Cheyenne Tarango, the designated player. And that's in for a strike from Ricketts.
Well, Beth, the biggest reason is, too, because of Kaylani Ricketts and that drop curve, that crop duster we talk about, it moves away from that lefty swing, and it's so difficult to make an adjustment, whereas it comes in to these righties. Still a tough pitch, but it's definitely easier to at least make contact with than from the left side.
Well, as a lefty pitcher, when you run that away from a left-handed batter, you don't have to stop it. It can keep running. With the righty, you can't do that because you potentially could hit him, and Keilani has struggled with that a little bit with the hit batters.
That became an issue in the championship series a year ago, hit batters and wild pitches. She has limited that better thus far this year. And a changeup for a strikeout, and Keilani Ricketts, 4 Ks in the first 5 she's faced.
But the key to Keilani's changeup is that she sells it. She makes it look like it's coming in at 70 miles an hour, and she locates it. Look at where she puts it, low in the zone on the outside corner. Tarango can't do anything but watch it go by.
Ricketts 3-0 already in this World Series, including a no-hitter against Michigan on Thursday. In this, her 4th appearance, she now has 30 strikeouts. And what adds to the intrigue a little bit, Michelle, is it's not too often that we see left-handers come here and win national championships. It has only happened 3 times in 3 decades. Ricketts looking to join the short list of Lori Stoll from Texas A&M, Jennifer Stewart, who won it with OU in 2000, and Katie Burkhart from Arizona State in 2008. There have been others that have come and tried, but those 3, the ones that finished it off.
And Lori Stoll, probably the most like Keilani Ricketts at power pitchers. The other 2 were more spin.
Oh, the drop curve is just eating them up right now. Full count to Davin.
You know, it's interesting, too, this year, Keilani Ricketts, she used to have a really good rise ball. You really don't see her use that much anymore. She'll sneak one up every once in a while, but it's cropped down, it's backdoor curve. We've seen her develop that pitch a lot this year.
Hey, you certainly got to give that to Ricketts. She didn't stand pat after reaching the finals last year. Oh, pulls the chain on that at 55 miles an hour.
And Keilani Ricketts, 5 strikeouts for the first 2 innings. It's the changeup that doesn't Davin. We're still tied up at 0.
Well, yesterday it was semifinals on Sunday. And both these teams were so good that they were able to take care of business on just the one game. Tennessee a winner over Texas, avoiding the if necessary. They stay undefeated here in Oklahoma City. And the Sooners just as good as they handled their business against the University of Washington 6-2. And they have stayed in the winner's bracket throughout, cruising into the finals for the Tennessee Lady Vols, outscoring the opposition 12-3. And for Oklahoma, 25 runs scored against just 5 allowed so far in this tournament. The Michigan game was a no-hitter. The Texas game was a run rule win. They have just been mowing people down throughout the regular season and have carried it through the postseason. This is the 9th year of the championship series, and only 3 times has the 1 seed managed to win the title. So it's not always a given, but over the course of the week, talking to a lot of softball folks, people can't remember if we've had a bigger favorite than Oklahoma is this year.
I saw Cal come in last year as the #1 seed and stub their toe really early in the tournament, but I think it's the perspective thing that's really keeping Oklahoma on track.
Keilani Ricketts, she's hitting 500 here in the tournament.
Well, you can just see a difference, too, in the fact that, you know, 8 of the 9 starters in this team have been here just last year, and they feel so much more comfortable. And I think anytime you're in the championship for the first time, there's always going to be those nerves, adrenaline, even more so than when you have been here before.
Ricketts got under it. And the infield pop-up, and Gibson fighting that one a little bit. And the All-American manages to make the play. Ricketts retired. Coverage of the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals will begin Friday on the ESPN networks. For more info, NCAA.com, the online home for all 89 NCAA championships. Next up is Brittany Williams, the junior from Santa Clarita, California. And even though this is just the 4th time in history that there is not a Pac-12 finalist, the West Coast is well represented. Williams, one of a dozen California kids that are playing for these two teams here in the championship series in the starting lineups. Still very fertile recruiting ground. There's Siobhan from Thousand Oaks, Shipman from Valencia. A lot of these young women have actually played against each other and played with each other in travel ball teams.
Well, Beth, and what that tells me is that, yeah, there's a ton of talent in the Sunshine States, the Floridas, the Texases, obviously the California. But as you mentioned, those kids, they're coming more to the East, Big 12, SEC. It comes down to facilities, programs, coaches, football money.
A lot of football money. And they have been very beneficial to the softball programs in these two conferences. T2 from Ellen Renfro. Ellen continuing to work low in the zone. To Williams. Got her. That one breaking away for the strikeout, number 2 for Renfro.
What I love about this pitch from Renfro is it's a rise ball, but look at the way it cuts out. That's one of the keys. It's going to change planes. It's going to move up and away from Williams. We talked about how you have to fight power with power, and that's what Ellen Renfro is doing. She's attacking a very strong Oklahoma offense right now.
And I love that she's doing it with a variety of different pitches, and you talked about this in the open, and I think Ellen's biggest tools are the fact that she has so many. We've seen Kaylani with that drop curve, and of course Kaylani does have others, but Ellen, she can throw in 3 different speeds, and that is very difficult for a hitter to adjust.
Yeah, absolutely. She'll come in with that drop ball and throw it about 61, 62 miles an hour, and then just to throw you off balance, she'll scooch one in at about 58 miles an hour and spin you around like a top.
Jessica Schultz, their senior leader, behind the dish. Right back to Renfro. Ellen told us, yeah, she's a little worried about this OU lineup, but she said, hey, I've got to go out there and make them worry about me too. Scoreless, headed to the 3rd.
And Kaylani Ricketts continues to set up hitters. She'll go hard under the hands and then use the changeup. Hard at Tennessee, and then float in that changeup at about 55 miles an hour. And Ricketts, so much to deal with. You've got the movement, the velocity, and then when she can change speeds, it is an unbelievable combination. 5 strikeouts through just the first 2 innings of work.
And what we've seen her do too is she sort of gets into a bit of a rhythm. Like early it was the drop curve, and then now she's moved to the changeup to strike people out. We've seen her get in sort of a roll. Sometimes it'll be the rise for 3 or 4 straight.
And she's unpredictable. It's like any great pitcher. When you're unpredictable, you don't know what to look for when you go up to bat, and fan a lot of folks.
We always talk about her presence, just the size of her and her frame and the fact that she throws it so hard. We asked her who she likes to watch as an athlete, and she actually said LeBron James. And she's got a little LeBron James about just her physical presence in her sport right now.
I love to watch Oklahoma run off the field. She's a true head above everybody. I mean, she's a strong, powerful woman. I love to see that.
Well, and I think what's been exciting, you know, watching her throughout her career is how she's developed to use her body. And even as a hitter, you know, I talked a lot about her freshman and sophomore year. She kind of struggled and wasn't as powerful as she has been the last 2 years. And she's figured out a way, you know, getting lower in her stance, using more of her legs, and done the same as a pitcher.
She is 10th in NCAA history in career wins, now up to 132, and cat-like out of the circle to scoop that up. Melissa Brown retired, 1 down. Well, the Women's College World Series continues this week on ESPN. Game 2 tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. And if necessary, the deciding Game 3 at the Women's College World Series will come your way Wednesday night. Of course, they're all available on your Watch ESPN app, wherever you and your computer may be. Last year, Game 3 for the ages. With the J-Train, Jackie Trena and the Crimson Tide, she got the win. She got the game-ending strikeout, and she had the game-winning hit as well for Alabama. And they were eliminated in the Super Regionals this year by this Tennessee club. And Akamine fouls it off. And the sophomore out of Escondido, California. Had a sister who played at Arizona. She actually watched her here in this World Series. I guess Sarah's been in contact with her all week, reminding her to stay in the moment. 0-2 missed. Sun setting here in Oklahoma City, and the Hall of Fame Stadium shadows starting to creep across the infield from left to right. Could be some sun issues out in right field as we progress. And the Sooners, who been there, done that, know well enough to have the proper eyewear on. Off her foot. Another one right back to Ricketts. 2 down. You can plan for it all you want, but when you see it in person for the first time, it's a little bit different. And now the number 9 hitter, Tori Lewis, I'm anxious to see for Tennessee now the second time around what kind of adjustments they might be able to come up with against Ricketts.
Well, it is interesting. Some of the lefties are mid-box. You would think with all that velocity you'd go back of the box, but they're mid-box. They said that, you know, we know the further back we go, the more room it gives that curveball to run away from us.
Well, I think definitely more so even the slappers too. With Tori Lewis and Raven Siobhan, you're going to notice they will try to even angle themselves more towards the shortstop instead of the pitcher, because almost following that movement of the drop curve.
And another strikeout for Kaylani Ricketts with that drop curve. Number 6 through the first 3 innings for Kaylani.
And Ricketts continuing to use her curveball. Backdoor on the inside corner. She gets Lewis. 6 strikeouts on the evening.
To win a national championship for the state of Oklahoma, it's for Oklahoma.
getting to represent your state in your state on the biggest stage that you want to be at for softball is just the greatest honor.
This team, they want to do it for the state of Oklahoma.
They have been doing it for the state for the last couple of weeks and have not lost. They've been on a roll on the field and have been so strong in the community off the field in the wake of the recent tornadoes. And they have really taken to heart the fact that they are playing for something greater than themselves. And whether it's a peculiarity or just for whatever reason, the third inning here at the World Series has been where they have decided to really crank it up a notch. On 2 occasions, they were trailing into the bottom of the third and counter-strike. 13 of their 23 innings, 25 runs, excuse me, here at the series have come in this third inning. Let's see if the bottom 3, the lefty slappers, can get it started.
Well, this is almost Destiny Martinez has been the traditional leadoff hitter for Oklahoma in the years past. So this is almost the reason why I think they've had so much success in this third inning is because Destiny leads it off and you get these 1, 2, 3 that are very much like a normal leadoff situation.
There's the changeup in for a strike. Destiny out of Corona, California, up in Riverside County.
This is where Tennessee has to adjust their complete defensive style to the speed at the end of Oklahoma's offense. Their lineup. Everybody in motion. That's what Oklahoma loves to do at the bottom of the order.
.340 on the season.
And everyone, as you said, Michelle, everyone in, and Callie Parsons, who's on deck, is actually the only one of these 3 that's actually a true triple threat. With Destiny and with Brianna Trang in the 9 spot, they're going to be pretty much all short game.
Driving in runs and scoring runs. Martinez fouls it back. It's what has made this group so strong. Throughout this NCAA tournament, 82 runs scored in their 8 games through the regionals, the supers, and here at the series.
Well, and then you put Kaylani Ricketts in the circle, and it's like, wow, this is a stacked team. But we talk a lot of times about offenses. The Olympic teams you were on, Jess, a lot of times we would say the offense is the best defense, because when you put that sort of pressure on your opponent, and then they have to score that many more runs, you know, this Oklahoma team reminds me a lot of those very powerful U.S. teams.
1-2 pitch. Renfro gets the drop for the K. That's number 3 for Ellen. 1 down.
And Renfro showing that she can mix and move the ball as well. It's that late sharp movement that Ellen Renfro uses. Look at the way she's going to put the ball on the white part of the plate. She trusts her stuff. So key for great pitchers. Downward rotation over the top. Great late sharp movement. She picks up her 3rd strikeout.
Now it's Callie Parsons. The sophomore from Pryor, Oklahoma. What a class this sophomore group is, with Parsons and Vest both in the starting lineup, and of course Georgia Casey and Lauren Chamberlain. Have really bought into what Patty Gasso has tried to build this program back to the days of their national championship in 2000. Talking so much about having a greater commitment. We've actually, she told us, we've actually changed the way we recruit a little bit. We don't want just the high school All-Americans. We want the high school All-American who's going to work their tail off when nobody's watching, and who loves nothing better than to be on the field.
And I think even more importantly, she'll bypass on the high school All-American to maybe take that number 2, number 3 player if they have that heart, they have that competitiveness, they have that want to be the first to show up, to hit early, to be the last to leave the ballpark. And those players are fewer to come by.
Parsons draws the walk. Well, the competition heats up on Tuesday at the French Open. Serena Williams, Rafa Nadal, Maria Sharapova all scheduled to play the men's and women's quarterfinals of the French Open Tuesday at 1 on ESPN2. You can also catch it on the Watch ESPN app. Well, we talk about the buzz when Lauren Chamberlain comes to plate, and now there's a buzz when Brianna Turang comes to the plate. Just because of the tremendous speed and excitement she can provide. Even if the hit off the bat only goes about 5 feet.
When we talk about tremendous speed, it's 2.6, 2.7 seconds from contact to first base, and that's why you see the defense they're played in. You'll notice left field maybe a little bit deeper. That's where Brianna Turang got her triple in the tournament, hitting over the left fielder's head.
One misses wide with Parsons down at first, the first base runner for either side tonight. Turang is the senior and a second-team All-American. She's only hitting .25 at the World Series, yet she's managed to figure out a way to have a .400 on-base percentage and score 5 times.
Well, I think the other thing that makes her weapons, you know, so lethal is the fact that she puts the defense in a position where it's difficult for them to make plays. So Shipman, the shortstop, is going to be up and in that 5-6 hole. That's going to move the second baseman, Lauren Gibson, up towards second base to cover the steal now because Parsons is on first. So it's got everybody out of order. So if Turang even shows bunt, now Gibson has a long way to go to get back all the way to first. So, and then Shipman would have a long way to go to get all the way to second.
The one advantage Tennessee does have, though, is they have Raven Chavon. And Raven Chavon has told us throughout the season, I love it when a slapper or a short gamer comes up. She's like, that's my game. She's like, I can read them, I feel like, better than anyone because I know exactly what they're trying to do.
All SEC third base defender.
Exactly, and when you see the defensive setup, what you'll see is that they're going to keep Melissa Brown, the first baseman, back. So you can see the first baseman's back here. Raven Chavon is going to come well up the line, and that's going to give a little reprieve to the middle infielders.
1-2 to Turang, goes down to get it. Gibson will apply the tag at second. 2 down as Parsons tried to sneak by.
You see Gibson playing this almost perfectly, except it looks like she might not have gotten her with the tag. She's in the right position. She comes back around, and Parsons looks like she might have dodged. Looks like there was some air between her glove and the body of Parsons.
Well, and the other thing is Gibson didn't really sell that either. She looked like, oops, I missed her.
Chamberlain, she wants that one to drift out of play, and it will.
Lucky break for Tennessee, though.
Very lucky break.
Otherwise, you're talking about 1 out with 2 on for Chamberlain, who has a couple of home runs here at the World Series.
You know, in that situation, it's probably best to flip it to Shipman if she's at the bag. You got to hear, you know, vocally if she's going to be there, because you're not going to turn the double play on Turang. So just don't even think about first base.
Second in the country this year in home runs and runs batted in. Ellen Renfro rolls it home. Lost the grip on the changeup. Chamberlain in the NCAA tournament is averaging 2 runs batted in and 2 runs scored per game. And laces that one out to left center, back to the wall. Turang headed for third, and Gasso, the late breaks as Brianna dives back into the bag.
Chamberlain kind of shortens up her swing on this ball, and she just gets to contact with the power. She gets through the ball, finds it into the gap and terrain. We've talked about her speed. She gets around to third. Patty Gasso thinks about sending her. I think it would have been a really close play at home. Shipman, the shortstop, was out in left field, shallow left field. She would have had to throw a perfect ball to get Terang out at home.
Well, and Patty Gasso knows she's got good RBI potential coming up here with Georgia Casey.
And I think that's just where you trust in your team. You know, hey, we have so many lethal weapons within this lineup. This isn't our only opportunity to score. But you do see a lot of teams at the World Series usually take that risk because a lot of times that might be your only chance. I'm guessing with Oklahoma they're going to have possibly a few.
Casey struck out on a drop ball in the first inning, and now her second look at Ellen Renfro. Gasso talks about her as being such a good student of the game. What did she learn the first time through? Fouls another one back. Stays low with the change, misses 2-2. Just about everything has been down for Ellen. Casey protects. Shelby Penley due up next. Just 1 for 10 so far in the series. Rise ball misses. Full count. There's the 8th pitch of the at-bat. And it hits Terang in foul territory.
Georgia Casey just sits back on this inside pitch and drives it right off the thigh of Brianna Terang, and you see her jump up. Really no time to get out of the way. Ouch.
She's not out, of course, because she was outside the foul line when she got hit. Here's another 3-2 pitch. Casey pops it up. Siobhan in foul territory with the room. Tennessee works out of the jam. Oklahoma threatens on the hit from Chamberlain, and the late stop sign holds Terang at third, and that's where she stays.
Coach, During that last half inning, Brianna Terang is motoring around third. How difficult is it to know when to hold her up because she's got so much speed?
She does, but Shipman also has a gun, and she was turning around when Brianna was just rounding third. So I have the faith in Georgia Casey that would put 2 runners on. Georgia had a good at bat, just popped it up. So we'll get our chances again.
How much of a challenge is Ellen Renfro to figure out right now? How can you do a little better against her?
Well, she spins really well, and what we're trying to do is just move ourselves up in the box and try to be a little more attacking. So one time through the lineup, and I think you'll see our hitters make some adjustments that way and just see the ball a little better, and stay attacking is important here.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much, Holly. Well, so the top of the order has come up for Oklahoma, and now for the first time, or excuse me, for the second time through, the Tennessee top of the order. After Kaylani Ricketts has retired the first 9 she has faced the first time through.
What's interesting, the wording both these coaches are using are attacking, making adjustments. And I know that Trip McKay, who's the hitting coach for Oklahoma, when he has his kids make adjustments, they're large adjustments. He says, if you're late getting to contact or getting your foot down, I'm going to get you down really early.
And that's an interesting conversation going on at home plate. Raven Siobhan and Jessica Schultz. So we talked to them about the familiarity with so many Californians. They said they've been playing against each other since they were 8 years old in league games and travel ball summers. And I'm sure there's a lot of folks that grew up playing with them thinking, man, I played with those guys, and here they are.
Well, and you love that familiarity. You do. You love the fact that you're all here on this big stage. But I was definitely one player that did not want to talk to my opponent. I never understood that. I always see my teammates like socializing with the other team. I'm like, they're the enemy. We don't talk to them.
And I'm guessing they didn't want to talk to you either. With that kind of attitude. Siobhan looked to lay it down and pops over the head of Schultz, foul. We've seen the speed of Brianna Terang. Tennessee fans would like to see the speed of Raven Siobhan, who is one of, if not the best leadoff hitter in SEC history. And a member of this senior class playing at the World Series for the 3rd time in 4 years. And Ricketts gets her again. A couple of strikeouts for Siobhan, who has only whiffed 12 times all year.
And Ricketts continues to use this backdoor curveball to the lefties. Look at the way she's going to throw it at you. If you're a left-handed hitter, this pitch looks like it's coming at you, and then at the last second it breaks.
Dotson grounds out, 2 down. And here comes Lauren Gibson. They've been teammates the last couple of summers on the U.S. national team. Gibson facing Ricketts. Grounds it to third. Penley's got it. And her first attempt of the day is clean. 12 in a row retired by Ricketts to start the game. Karen Weekly is with Holly Rowe on the other side.
Welcome back. Still scoreless between Tennessee and Oklahoma. Here with the Vols coach Karen Weekly, and Coach Ellen Renfro this time last year was really having a crisis of confidence. How do you describe this confident kid we're seeing in the circle? It's remarkable.
Just a complete change from last year. She's very confident out there, great presence, a little bit of swagger to her, and just really leading her team.
Now this Oklahoma Sooners lineup is a team that makes adjustments the second time around. What does she have to be mindful of?
Well, she just has to stay on the attack. I think I'm the one that's got to do a good job over here, making sure that I'm calling the right pitches to keep them off balance. But the thing that Ellen does well is she just trusts what I do, and she just keeps going at it.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Holly. Scoreless here as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning with the Sooners coming back up.
Well, and talking with Karen earlier today, she said that this is the best that she's ever seen Ellen Renfro throw. And you just talk about the timing for her as a junior in her career. And just as Holly alluded to, it's been kind of that mental toughness. I mean, the fact that she sat here last night and watched Oklahoma's hitters beat up a little bit on Washington, and she was not intimidated one bit. In fact, she's like, it was kind of cool to sit there in the stands and hear all the Oklahoma fans, cheering, and, to think of her not being intimidated coming in today and attacking. It's impressive.
Oh, and imagine how special this moment is for Ellen Renfro, and then consider the fact that, okay, I'm sharing it with my sister, and I'm sharing it with my other sister, and Marty and Emily, mom and dad, watching those three grow up as softball siblings together. They're all a part of this team. Ivy and Ellen have been in the circle together all year long, back and forth. Ellen's got 2 wins in the series. Ivy picked up the win yesterday. And there's the youngest sister, the catcher, Anna. What a moment for the Renfro family. They grew up watching Monica Abbott and the Lady Vols in the 2007 championship series. And as Ellen told us earlier today, nothing makes us feel more excited than to know that, hey, now it's our turn. And trying to get Tennessee the title that they couldn't bring home 6 years ago. 3, 4, and 5 here for OU.
I think something they were also relieved in what they took from the crowd and all the people of Oklahoma being out. She's like, that just puts all the pressure on them. She's like, no one here is really expecting us. And they're like, we like that. I mean, it's really about them trying to exceed expectations. And for us, it's just playing softball.
Ralph Weekly was joking with us. Everybody thinks we're the underdogs, even our local radio guys. Coach, how are you guys going to do this? I said, hey, slay the giant was his response.
Right. Iron forges iron. I mean, all those things. And this is how you want to do it. If you're going to win a national championship or compete, you want to compete against the best.
1-2 to Penley. Tried to get her to chase that breaking ball away.
Ellen Renfro has the ability to throw the pitch through the zone and just off the plate. Good eye by Penley to not chase that screwball out of the zone.
Shelby was so good during the regular season. She's been stuck in a rut in the postseason. After hitting .360 during the year, just 1 for 10 with 5 strikeouts so far in the World Series.
Well, I think it's further compounded when everyone around you is having so much success, and we've talked so much about this lineup, and I think it can be hard when everyone else seems to be figuring out and you're the only one.
Another strikeout for Renfro on the rise. 1 down.
The thing I like about Ellen Renfro is that she's got a lot of different tools. We see her attack low screwball, and then she's going to come up in the eyes of Shelby Penley, changing that eye level. Look at the way she gets behind that ball. Backward rotation, great body angle to throw that pitch from low to high to pick up the strikeout.
Kaylani Ricketts. We talked about the commitment necessary to be successful at this level, and double that when you're both pitching and hitting, and the time you've got to spend out in the bullpen and the time you got to spend in the batting cages to prepare. And Ricketts offensively, better numbers every year she's been here. And playing a little short game and rocking it out down the line. The total package.
And who says pitchers can't run?
Well, this is just reading the defense. Kaylani Ricketts, Raven Siobhan is behind third base. You notice where she's at with the bag. Kaylani Ricketts, this is not a good bunt at all. But the fact that she gets down the line using her legs. This is really just a short ground ball for Siobhan, but look at Ricketts kicking it into some speed.
We need to get the stopwatch out on that one, I think.
Even Siobhan with the smile.
You got to be kidding me, she says.
You're getting beat by Kaylani Ricketts in front of you.
Well, Brianna Turang got down there in, what, 2.7? Kaylani flirted with something a few tenths of a second higher than that. Ricketts passes the bat to Brittany Williams. Struck out on a rise ball her first time up.
And Beth, what you just said is one of the really the mottos of this Oklahoma team. They love the idea of passing the bat to their teammate, to the next one in line to do their job.
That's the number 4 hitter laying down the bunt and passing the bat. And Renfro comes back strong, her 5th strikeout. She is making her presence felt tonight.
Yeah, she sure is. She's starting to use that rise ball up in the zone. She's got Oklahoma looking low and sneaking the rise ball up underneath their hands.
You got a couple of veterans too in the dugout that are plotting out the strategy and calling the pitches. Karen Weekly sitting down there. Works with Marty McDaniel, their pitching coach, and Kaylani Ricketts with a stolen base.
I'm telling you, we need a stopwatch.
Who knew? Another talent of Oklahoma, of Kaylani Ricketts, stolen base. I think she actually caught Akamine off guard, this ball in the dirt. Shipman unable to hold on, and you watch her throw it down. Akamine usually right on with her throws, and that one I think she's like, is she really going?
She's unstoppable. She's 9 for 9 stolen bases this year, and now she's giving her buddy Jessica Schultz a chance to drive one in. Jessica has had the best bat of any of the Sooners here in the series.
Well, in almost every game we've seen for Oklahoma, they usually pinch run for Ricketts every time she gets on base, or at least the first time, so that she can re-enter and pitch, but we've never been able to actually see her run the bases. So Patty Gasso almost saving it for Oklahoma City.
2-1 to Schultz. Grew up in Southern California, playing for her dad, and also playing for the dad of Tennessee shortstop Madison Shipman, another one of her youth coaches. Jessica actually spent much of her youth as a shortstop before switching over to catch. And they're just going to go ahead and issue the ball 4. Put Schultz on and take their chances with Destiny Martinez. And they'll swap out the power hitter for the slap hitter and take their chances.
Well, this also allows the outfielders to be brought in more, so then if it does become a base hit situation, there'll be very little chance that Kaylani will be able to score.
Renfro struck her out. And a drop ball back in the 3rd. Using that away pitch nicely. Stays low. 2-1.
And already you can feel the difference second time through the lineup for Oklahoma, having seen Ellen. This strong offense, the more looks they get, the more familiar they are with the pitcher, the more damage they can do.
Martinez snared by Raven Siobhan.
Siobhan diving to her left, saving a run. Still tied, going into the 5th.
We're definitely the underdog. They're good, we know it.
The pressure's more on them than it is on us.
We're going to have to play our best to beat them. Oklahoma's a great team, and it's going to be a really good series.
Well, the Tennessee Lady Vols, after they won their semifinal game yesterday, they stayed here at Hall of Fame Stadium. And Ralph and Karen Weekly said, go mingle, mix and mingle in with the crowd and get a feel for what it's like here and all the energy. And then come out tomorrow night and match it on the field.
Well, I think it's important that they addressed it. I think a lot of coaches would avoid it completely, thinking, let's not draw attention to all the distractions of crowd and underdog. And instead, they embraced it and said, this is the reality. I don't want you to figure it out first pitch of the first inning.
They have matched the energy and the intensity, but they have yet to solve the riddle that is Ricketts. Kaylani has retired the first dozen she has faced as we move to the top of the 5th scoreless. 4, 5, and 6 here. It's been all strikeouts and groundouts. Tennessee has not mustered a ball out of the infield yet. And Shipman draws the walk. First base runner for UT.
And Kaylani with the curve drop coming inside, just a little bit too far inside. So a 4 straight pitch walk. 4-ball walk.
You guys have been on the underdog favorite, both sides, during the course of your careers, and I think everybody understands the deeper, the longer the underdog can hang around, it starts to tighten a little bit on the favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, and I think from the athlete's perspective, it is a lot more fun to play from the underdog perspective because you can go out and play free. There's always a little bit of tenseness when you're expected to win. The pressure is definitely there.
Well, Tennessee even mentioned, they said besides everyone in this stadium, they feel like everyone else in the country. They're like, when you think about, you watch any sporting event, you're always kind of pulling for the underdog. She's like, we feel like we got a lot of pull around the country. At least that's what we're going to tell ourselves.
And to Oklahoma's credit, they have been having a lot of fun and been playing real relaxed here in front of the home fans. And the throw down to first. And the only base runner that Tennessee has had gets thrown out by Jessica Schultz.
Well, this is just a great throw by Schultz and a great sneak behind by Georgia Casey. Watch Georgia Casey come behind Madison Shipman. Shipman does not see her at all. Just too big of a lead. Obviously, that just hurts you. First base runner of the ball game, and you get picked off.
Third pickoff of the season for Schultz. Gets her old buddy Shipman. Backdoor curve. Outside, 2-1.
I think Shipman trying to argue. She was blocked, but her hand got in. It was just after the tag.
Drop curve at 71 miles per hour. It's not just that rise ball that is moving at a high rate of speed.
Everything that she throws, but her changeup moves at a high rate of speed.
What was the fastest pitch that you threw? It wasn't a rise ball, was it?
No, usually it was my curveball. Because a lot of times a rise ball to the batter's eye looks like the fastest pitch because it gets up in your eyes, but it actually on the gun is slower typically than a drop ball or a curve ball that's lower in the zone. Those are the pitches that usually register quite a bit faster on the gun. So something low in the zone in the 70s, typically the rise ball will register somewhere in the high 60s.
Tarango having a good at-bat. Tonight, the highest we've seen on the radar gun, which is a part of our scoreboard there on the lower right, 73-mile-an-hour curveball. And again, for a hitter, that's comparable to a 100-mile-an-hour Major League fastball, as Tarango is the second in a row to walk for Tennessee. Now, the NBA Finals begin Thursday, June 6th on ABC. Who will survive the conference finals and contend for the championship? It's game one of the NBA Finals Thursday, June 6th. Coverage begins at 8:30 with Kia NBA Countdown. Then we tip at 9. And the pickoff, a huge play now for Jessica Schultz after back-to-back walks. Instead of first and second, you do not have a runner in scoring position. Pinch runner for the Lady Vols. Jennifer Burrows. Tarango can re-enter, but what on paper looked like it might be a slugfest tonight. Now, as we get deeper into the game, the coaches may start having to play for the one run.
Well, when you see Keilani Ricketts lay down a drag bunt, you know that it's a well-pitched ball game.
Melissa Davin returning from the broken hand injury. She's 0 for 6 at the World Series. This is the first time back for her in the field since May 4th.
And to me, it's amazing that she's even out there. 6 pins and a plate in the hand less than a month ago. Oof.
Sneaking another one in the back door, 1-2. Actually, that was the off speed there.
And you can see just the way that Keilani continues to hide that pitch, to sell that pitch, and look at the way that Davin is out front.
Tried to hit the same spot, 2-2.
Well, I think what also makes that pitch so successful is after, when she does throw her harder stuff, it looks so much harder from a hitter's perspective when you see 54 jump back up to 72.
Another 3-ball count. That's 3 in a row for Ricketts.
So the 3 righties in a row, giving Ricketts a hard time.
Draws another walk. 3 in a row as the changeup misses. 2 on with 1 out.
So the changeup looks like it's in the zone, doesn't get the call. So Ricketts, I think, getting a little careful on that inside corner, especially to those righties. You know, those are the 3 batters that are really going to challenge her in that 4, 5, and 6 position. Shipman, Tarango, and Davin.
Well, we've seen that drop curve even to Davin. I was, thinking, gosh, if Davin was even a little bit more on the plate or rolled into any of those pitches, they were in the batter's box when they finished off. She was very close to even hitting some of these righties with that drop curve and the late break that it has.
Oh, and no matter how big of an underdog, when you're good enough to get to the championship series, you certainly don't want to help them out. 3 consecutive walks. Tennessee does not have a hit tonight. And yet here they are with a runner in scoring position, 1 out.
And if it wasn't for the pickoff, they'd really be in trouble.
They'd have the bases loaded. Melissa Brown stepping up. Are you taking on the first pitch?
Smartly, yes. I think you take until you get a strike.
Brown 0 for 1 with a ground out. Another one of their seniors out of Valencia, California, went to high school with Jessica Schultz. And after retiring the first 12, she's walked the last 3 as Ricketts.
And even though Ricketts has had a little bit of control issues here in this inning, to me, technically her form does not look too bad. Last year she was off balance. She fell off to the side. She hit batters. Michelle Gascoigne in the bullpen for Oklahoma. Another very good pitcher. In fact, she leads the country in ERA. How's that?
Well, that speaks to Oklahoma, the top ERA in the country, the top scoring team in the country. Right back to Ricketts. Kaylani to second. Casey turns on the double play for OU.
Kaylani Ricketts, the 1-6-3 double play to end a threat. We are still tied at 0 going into the bottom of the 5th. Ellen Renfro today showing that she can move and mix. When she keeps the ball in and out of the zone quickly, she's picking up the strikeouts. Rise ball out of the zone. But when she puts it through the zone, Lauren Chamberlain jumps all over it, a double into the gap. So for Ellen Renfro, really comes down to mixing and moving those pitches.
There is the breakdown of outs. Renfro with 5 strikeouts. Ricketts has 7. Ellen took care of business in short order through the first 2 innings, and now Oklahoma has threatened in the last 2, but Renfro has been able to work out of a jam. Some strong defensive plays behind her, in particular Raven Siobhan. She will face 8, 9, and in the top of the order here in the bottom of the 5th inning. OU has left a couple on base in both the 3rd and the 4th. They are 0 for 4 with a runner in scoring position, as they have not been able to break through on Ellen to get that timely hit. She has just had such a strong demeanor in the circle, so focused, so locked in. She pitched a 1-0 shutout earlier in the tournament against NC State in the regionals. 11 innings without giving up a run, struck out 13. But in a lot of cases, we see Ellen and Ivy split pitching in games, because Ellen is the one that's going to fool you, and then they'll bring in Ivy, the one that's going to jam you and go up more.
Ivy more of a power pitcher. She's going to throw the ball about 3 to 4 miles an hour harder. But it's that spin. That's the type of pitcher a lot of times that gives a team like Oklahoma problems. Think Blair Luna, right? There's a kid that Lauren Chamberlain has struggled with. Some of the big boppers on Oklahoma. The move and mix type pitchers have fooled them.
I was just going to say, I'd rather face power over spin any day, because eventually you can always catch up to power. Spin, it'll deceive you all 3 at bats.
Strikeout number 6 for Renfro. Well, that's what Patty Gasso told our Holly Rowe earlier. She's been spinning it well tonight.
Yeah, and it's that tight rotation. Look at the way that she spins this ball. We always say pitchers spin the ball, let the ball do the work, and that's what Ellen's doing. Look at the rotation. Over the top drop ball, comes in looking like it's in one spot. By the time you get to contact, it's in another.
Brandon Turang reached down a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Sooners as a team hit .338 on the year. They've hit 92 home runs. They average 7 runs per game, up to 10 runs per game in the tournament. And so far, Renfro has had their number. 1-1. 1-2.
When we talk about Ellen's success, part of it is that she's attacking. She's working from ahead. So Oklahoma immediately, the offense is behind in the count. When you're behind in the count, you end up chasing stuff out of the zone. And that's what we've seen in those K-zone packages. Majority of her strikeouts coming on pitches where the hitters are having to chase movement pitches that are balls that look like strikes.
In the dirt, 2-2. Gets to Ryan, chasing the rise. 7 strikeouts as Renfro goes K for K with Keilani thus far tonight.
And look at the way she gets underneath the rise ball. Great body position. Hard front side, collapse the backside, snap. Rotating that ball backward 6 to 12 o'clock. Like turning the doorknob.
Well, the one player that has hit her the hardest tonight, Lauren Chamberlain, doubled back in the 3rd inning. Check swing foul, and Lauren's got to run it out to make sure that it doesn't trickle back into fair territory. First team All-American. Set a Big 12 home run record last year with 30. She's one shy of tying that mark this year.
Lauren Chamberlain, the 2 home runs she's hit this series, one just a couple inches off the ground. And then last night, she crushed this inside pitch. Almost 300 feet, just completely had this stadium erupting. She got a little excited.
Gasso calls her attitude infectious, and you saw why right there. Plays with a ton of emotion.
Well, I think what's nice to see with Lauren Chamberlain is not only the talent, we could talk all day about what she brings to the table as far as tools, but the fact that she loves to compete and she wants to win, and you rarely see both of those in the same player.
And Ellen Renfro not backing down. The 0-2 pitch off speed. Oh, Ellen wanted it.
Renfro selling this pitch and looking pretty good.
I don't think Mike Bartley likes the changeups tonight.
Nah,
I wasn't giving him the Keilani either.
Yeah. Well, hey, and it doesn't matter. If you're a pitcher, that could be 2 inches lower and not in the K zone, and you'd still want it.
Yeah, that's true. You pitchers can't get enough.
Hey, if it doesn't bounce, it should be a strike. That's my motto.
Chamberlain reaches for it. Akamine, the throwdown. 3 up and 3 down. Renfro staying strong. She strikes out the side here in the 5th.
Renfro with the drop, with the rise, and then gets the most powerful hitter in the game to strike out the side.
Well, to catch you up back in the 3rd inning, Lauren Chamberlain, the hardest hit ball we've seen all night. She got a double in the gap. Patty Gasso holds up Brianna Terang at 3rd. Oklahoma ends up not scoring that inning. In the 4th, Keilani Ricketts showing a little bit of speed. The drag bunt, and then the stolen base to 2nd. That was Oklahoma's next biggest threat. But Raven Chavon with a diving catch to her left ends the inning. And Madison Shipman, the first base runner to reach base for Tennessee, gets picked off. And to end the inning, Oklahoma 1-4-3 double play. With some great defense, 1 hard hit, and even some speed from the pitcher, Keilani Ricketts.
Ellen Renfro and Ricketts have combined to strike out 15. Ricketts has not given up a hit as we head to the 6th, but she did walk 3 to get into some trouble in the last inning.
Well, what's interesting about that inning, the first 3 innings, she only threw 10 balls total. That last inning, 14. The 3 walks, no strikeouts in the 5th for Keilani.
Strikeouts have been descending since the first inning.
I was just going to say the adjustments the Tennessee hitters have been making. 3 strikeouts in the first, 2 in the second, and then 1 and 1 in the 3rd and 4th, and like you said, none in the 5th. So they're putting the ball in play.
The play of the game right now might be Jessica Schultz picking off Madison Shipman at first base.
And I'll
in that last inning
with a Raven Siobhan dive to the left. That would be
that could be a good one too.
And I'll second Terang not being sent home.
A stop sign has been the difference so far. Wait, did you second her second, or did you third it?
Yeah, I thirded it. I should third it. Tertiary.
Nice use of tertiary. 2-1 the count. To Hannah Akamine. It's 8-9 in the top. Akamine grounded back to Ricketts, and up the middle for the first hit of the ball game for Tennessee.
And Hannah Akamine, talking to her today, said, I just want to simplify my swing. Keilani Ricketts provides the power. All I want to do is just get to contact, and she does. She takes a drop curve down and in. Watch her just simply shorten her swing, use that velocity, and that's what gets this ball through the infield.
Took them a while to get it, but the Lady Vols break up the no-hitter in the 6th. Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Well, Hannah Akamine, who's the catcher for Tennessee, was so frustrated when she was 0 for yesterday and actually had to be pinch hit for. She said, I'm a catcher. I pride myself on knowing the strike zone, being able to see what's being called. I just couldn't see a strike to swing at last night. I lost focus. She said that won't be the case again. She was very upset with herself. And look at that, the first hit for Tennessee coming from her, fixing that problem from yesterday.
Well, thank you, Holly. She's lifted for the pinch runner, Whitney Hammond, and Akamine can re-enter and catch. And a sacrifice situation for Tori Lewis, the number 9 hitter. Wants to move that runner and get the chain reaction at the top of the order coming up. Siobhan's on deck. The 3 seniors in a row would love an opportunity here with Siobhan, Dotson, and Gibson.
The Weeklies told us earlier today that they think Keilani Ricketts probably one of the hardest pitchers to bunt on. And they said, but you probably won't see a short game a whole lot. Of course, Tori Lewis and Raven Siobhan, that is their game. But they said that drop curve, one of the hardest pitches specifically to bunt. Yep. So you got to be able to get your barrel out on a pitch that's breaking down and away from your bat.
One, two from Ricketts. Got her.
Keilani knowing that curve drop moving away is a tough pitch for the lefties, sliding through the zone to hit. And look at the rotation, the way Keilani comes over the top of it. That late down, so it's moving away and down at the same time.
And Raven Siobhan told us that her plan, especially if she needs to execute a bunt or make sure that she gets a ball on the ground, and she's like, I'm going to run to the shortstop. Yeah. So I don't even think pitcher. I need to exaggerate because I need to make sure I'm following that pitch.
The follow through to the left side as opposed to the right. And now it's 0-2. Raven has struck out twice. Had only struck out 11 times all season prior. Got her again for the 3rd time. Another curveball. That's number 9 for Keilani. Well, the Women's College World Series will return for Game 2 tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. If necessary, would be on Wednesday. Best 2 out of 3 to decide the national championship. You can also pick them up on your Watch ESPN app. Kat Dotson, the senior from Savannah. Plays through pain. A knee injury a couple of years ago. She still wears a brace for. The player they call Dottie. Not always easy for her to be out there. They had a hit and run on there. Her teammates call her boss. It's an inspiration for them just that she's able to suit up and be out there and be productive. 2-2.
That knee injury, it's a patella tendon tracking problem, so it's not easily fixed by surgery, which is why she has not had anything done to try to fix it.
Pulled to first base, and a nice backhand by Lauren Chamberlain. So Ricketts gives up her first hit, but then responds. No damage done. Scoreless, OU and Tennessee. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The 7-seed Tennessee, the 1-seed Oklahoma, and a capacity crowd here at Hall of Fame Stadium for Game 1 of this best-of-3 championship series and a new session record here in Oklahoma City. As you would imagine, a lot of Sooner fans here, and they are seeing something they don't see very often. A 0 next to the OU name on the scoreboard. In fact, the last time they were into the 6th inning without a run, they lost, got shut out by Kansas on May 5th, 2-0. They have been averaging 10 runs per game in the NCAA tournament, and Ellen Renfro has been throwing a gem.
Well, a huge credit right now to Tennessee to be able to do what no one here at the World Series has been able to do, and that is stay within a tie game into the 6th, as you said. But watching the way that they're playing, they are playing relaxed. They are playing like they are the underdog.
Casey to Siobhan. Strong at third. This is the heart of the order here for Oklahoma. 2, 3, 4, 1 down.
Well, Beth, you mentioned this earlier and really hit the nail on the head that the further this game progresses, the more the pressure goes on to Oklahoma. And this is a team that not only wins, but they mercy teams. They score a ton of runs, and this is when panic mode starts to set in, or could start to set in, for this offense.
Shelby Penley, a ground out and a strikeout. Well-documented struggles for the Pac-12 Player of the Year, the transfer from Arizona in her first season. So while all of her teammates were here in this championship series last year, she was watching. And it's not always an easy transition to this big stage.
No, it is not. And I think that the other thing that has been answered this evening is the debate of which is more important in the postseason, power pitching or power hitting.
Help me separate them. Separate them.
Well, where's power pitching getting us? It's getting us a tie ball game. We could be here all night unless the power hitters show up. I mean, come on.
And the crowd
loves
it.
Both.
Beth Bowens, one of the great hitters of all time. Jessica Mendoza, one of the great pitchers of all time. Michelle Smith, the greatest Hall of Fame Stadium reporter of all time, Holly Rote. game 1 best of 3. And I know a lot of folks tuning in that have been following softball all year were not expecting this score this late. Here's the 2-2 from Renfro to Penley. She's been struggling with outside pitches. The screwball's been difficult, and that's where Renfro has been spending a lot of her time today, pitching to Shelby. Another strikeout for Renfro. 9 on the night. 2 down. French Open quarterfinals come your way Tuesday at 1 Eastern. It's the men's and women's quarters at the French Open. That too is available on the Watch ESPN app. Serena Williams, Sharapova, Nadal all scheduled to play on Tuesday. And what a pitcher's duel we've got. With Kaylani Ricketts and Ellen Renfro, they have allowed just 3 hits tonight. And I think 1 base runner has reached third base all evening. And they've combined for 17 strikeouts. And here's Ricketts at the plate. Ricketts has popped up and singled on a bunt and stole a base. Pitch of the night for Ellen. Who is getting stronger as the night gets longer. 10 strikeouts, and she has set down 7 in a row. Time now for our Capital One Cup Impact Performance, and so far tonight it's Ellen Renfro.
Ellen Renfro showing that she can throw the ball to all 4 quadrants. She's got a screwball going, drop ball underneath the hands. Oh yes, the rise ball, taking it upstairs. And Kaylani Ricketts showing that she can throw that crop duster and the backdoor curveball. She's gonna move it all over the zone. With that curveball, Ricketts has just been outstanding. Kaylani with the 9 strikeouts and just 6 innings of work. Those 3 base on balls, though, all coming in on the same inning.
So the 2 pitchers are impact performers thus far as we head to the 7th. Just 3 hits on the night. Both sides have had just a couple of scoring chances. The Renfro sisters looking on. Ivy giving Ellen her space. Letting her stay loose over there in the dugout. For Ellen Renfro, 30 strikeouts now in her 3 games here at the series. And a challenge for Ricketts in the top of the 7th with the 3, 4, 5 hitters. Lauren Gibson. A strikeout and a ground out.
And Lauren Gibson, her 3rd at bat, coming in with a little bit more on the plate than she has been. You see her putting her toes right up to that line, the line that's kind of vanished from the batter's box, but she's right on it. And even that front foot almost out of the batter's box, that's how much she is sitting on the outside part of the plate, sitting on that drop curveball.
A little pigeon-toed in the batter's box. 2-1 pitch from Ricketts. Oh, flails at the changeup.
And I think Gibson's looking for that inside curveball, that backdoor curve. You could see the way she laid off the outside crop duster and then the changeup fooled her. Now with 2 strikes, she's just going to have to defend. But you can always get that feeling of when a hitter is sitting on a pitch. When you throw a really good pitch on the outside corner and they don't even wave at it, there's a pretty good indication they're looking on the opposite corner.
Gibson pulls it to second. Casey, 1 down. 2 of the highest scoring teams in the country involved in a pitcher's duel here tonight with a couple of All-Americans in the circle. Ellen Renfro and Kaylani Ricketts combining for 19 Ks, and they've given up just 3 hits. The #1 seed, the Sooners, in a battle here with the 7 seed Tennessee. It's game 1 of our best-of-3 championship series. And finally for Tennessee, a right-hander stepping in. The lefties have struggled against Ricketts. Shipman a ground out and a walk, and then got picked off of first base in what could be one of the key plays of this game. The next 2 batters behind her then both walked, and Ricketts got out of it. You see Kaylani going to dip in the dirt. She's in a constant battle to keep those hands dry. Shipman tried to check and does not. Strikeout number 10 for Ricketts, 2 down.
Ricketts relying heavily on the changeup. Look at the rotation on that ball on the outside corner, and Shipman gets her foot down, but her hand's creeping early. And she tries to hold up, but just cannot. So Kaylani Ricketts, 10 strikeouts on the evening.
That'll bring up Cheyenne Tarango. Tarango up to shallow left, and Brianna Turang handles that. To the bottom of the 7th, Jessica Schultz and Destiny Martinez will try and win it for the Sooners. To the bottom of the 7th, and a chance for a Sooner walk-off. We are scoreless here in game 1 of the best-of-3 championship series. Kaylani Ricketts and Ellen Renfro, 20 strikeouts combined. They've given up just 3 hits tonight. A defensive change for Tennessee with Haley Tobler out there in left field. And Ellen Renfro set to face 5, 6, and 7. The DP Brittany Williams to start things off, followed by the senior Jessica Schultz, who is your Big 12 career home run queen.
Leading off for Oklahoma, number 23, Brittany Williams.
Brittany Williams has struck out a couple of times tonight. Both times a rise ball did her in. She's 2 for 10 so far at this Women's College World Series. Fouls that one back. Renfro has retired 7 in a row since giving up a walk to Schultz back in the 4th. This has been one of the best hitting teams in the country this year, one of the best hitting teams in the history of college softball, but they have struggled to find the production tonight and even to put the ball in play. Williams taps it back to the pitcher. One down.
I think the key is not only has Ellen Renfro quieted the big bats of Oklahoma's offense, but it's been that triple threat at the bottom of the lineup, that 7, 8, 9 that has gotten more rallies started, gotten more of the initial runs for Oklahoma going, and they have not been able to touch Ellen Renfro.
Jessica Schultz, who can end it with one swing. More home runs than anyone in Big 12 history. Has grounded out and walked. Reminded us earlier today when we spoke that she has been on this big stage before and how much she likes it. Schultz hit a home run in the championship series last year. It was won by Alabama. Grounds to Shipman, it's short. 2 down. In the 8-year history of the championship series, we have had a couple of extra inning games, including Game 3 of the finals in 2005 when Sam Finley beat UCLA with the 3-run home run in the top of the 10th inning. There has also been one memorable walk-off in a championship series game in 2010 when Megan Langenfeld hit a home run for UCLA to beat Arizona in Game 1 of the finals. As we referenced earlier, Renfro, already in the NCAA tournament, has thrown an extra inning game. She beat NC State in 11 innings in the regionals. Kaylani Ricketts, as good as Oklahoma has been this year, has not had to pitch beyond the 7th inning this season.
And a lot of times those games that they have won have been shortened as well. When you have that powerful offense, you have the run-ahead rule or the 8-run rule.
Tobler in foul territory, he's got it. Scoreless through 7. We've got extra innings in Game 1 of the championship series. How about a recap going back to the 3rd inning, Jessica?
Lauren Chamberlain doubled into the gap. Brianna Terang reeling around third base. Patty Gasto holds her up. They end up getting out of the inning, and in the 4th, Oklahoma threatens again, but Siobhan making the diving catch. And the only base runner, Shipman, the first base runner to get on base, gets picked off. And as they threaten 2 more walks with 1 out, it's a 1-4-3 double play, and Oklahoma gets out. And that's really been the threat for both of these teams. You think about 3 hits between the 2 teams, one of them being a drag bunt by Kaylani Ricketts. Chamberlain's hit the only hard hit ball we've seen all night.
So we go to extra innings. For Tennessee in the 8th, it will be 6, 7, and 8. They had the 3 walks in the 5th inning and the 1 hit in the 6th inning. Those are the only Lady Vols that have been on board against Ricketts. Melissa Davin, the left fielder who was pulled for the defensive substitution, re-enters, so Melissa will lead off here. Has struck out and walked. The 3rd extra inning game in championship series history.
I think right now for Tennessee, you're seeing them try to kind of shorten up their swings a little bit. And the weeklies talked about their game plan against Ricketts, really just about getting to contact. Anytime you're against a power pitcher, especially one that moves the ball, no need to swing big. And I think it's hard. You get game 1 of the championship series, sold out crowd, your adrenaline's pumping, and you're trying to be told, hey, don't swing big. Easier said than done, but we're now seeing Tennessee, 3rd time through, doing a little bit of that.
On the 100th pitch for Ricketts, that's fouled out of play.
Of course, and you can tell that Tennessee is way choked up. You can see that they are making those adjustments. They've moved in the box. But you're right, Jess, it's all about Kaylani supplying the power. They just need to get to contact.
Tight to Davin, 1 and 2. Tennessee was involved in an extra inning game in the 07 championship series, that 1-0 loss in 10 innings. And the Taryn Mowat versus Monica Abbott clash, and the error by Vest at short. And the go-ahead run on base.
This is a changeup that gets hit up the middle, and you can see because it's rolling slowly, it takes a little bit of a hop. Vest's head comes up just a tad bit. And that hop out in front of her glove hits the heel of her glove. And that bobble puts Davin on it first for the Vols.
And we will reiterate what you addressed earlier, Jess, the weeklies, the coaches for Tennessee telling us that Ricketts is very difficult to bunt on and to sacrifice on. Brown will try. Charging his penalty, fires to first to get the out, but it does move Davin. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, something very different tonight from the previous games I've covered of the Sooners. This is a quiet, serious dugout. Usually they're laughing, they're dancing, a much more energetic group. But as this game moves on, they become very serious. Even the team huddles in between innings, not a lot of joking and smiling and playing loose like they normally do. Of course, that comes because they haven't hit home runs. They haven't scored like they typically do. But even Lauren Chamberlain, one of their leaders, is like, hey, get up. Let's get this dugout going. She's trying to get some energy. But, guys, a very serious Sooner group.
Here's Akamine, who's got the only hit of the night off of Ricketts. Looking at a changeup, 1-0. And just the 2nd time this evening, Tennessee has a runner in scoring position.
And this is where I think Kaylani needs to be careful. You have the right-handed Akamine up. The next 2 batters, 4 batters, I should say, are left-handed. So with first base open again, you don't always want to put people on base because everyone that scores is another one that you have to make up. But the point is, in this situation, if she wants to get herself out, let her swing through pitches, but be very careful.
Well, and just to back up to what Holly Rowe was just reporting, this is a Sooner team that is 55-4. They have lost just 4 times all season. Almost half of their wins were run rules. They have not had a lot of experience in these types of situations. But they do have the experience of being in this spotlight. They were here a year ago in the championship final.
Well, and every coach that we talked to pre-tournament, during the tournament, what's it take to win a national championship? Great pitching. We've seen that tonight. Great defense. We've seen that. timely hitting. They've all said in order to win the national championship, you got to have the timely hit.
Yep, because you've said that great pitching and defense is what helps you not lose. But to get the win, right now, they're both not losing.
Exactly.
But who wants to take the lead, get the hit?
Misses away, 3-0. Rainey Gaffin, the pinch hitter on deck in the 9 spot. And Ricketts loses her outside. Well, coverage of the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals begins Friday on ESPN. Log on to NCAA.com. Your home for all 89 NCAA championships.
And I think this is a very, very smart move on the weeklies. Tori Lewis, not only the 2 strikeouts from the left side, but really nowhere even close to the zone. That's why them putting in Rainey Gaffin, a right-handed hitter, being able to come in, excuse me, a left-handed hitter, but being able to come in and be different, have a different look. Tori Lewis struggling.
Gaffin, the freshman from Thornton, Colorado. 0 for 4 so far at the World Series. Ricketts struggling to find the strike zone. Comes back with a curve, 2-1.
Just Gaffin being able to stand in the box. Tori Lewis, we saw her with her slap just totally pulling off of that drop curve. And right now, Rainey Gaffin up on the plate, standing in.
Yeah, absolutely, Jess. This is a definite hit-away situation, and I love the fact that even though Gaffin was behind that last pitch, she's getting her front foot down early in a set. She's getting a good look.
Davin on second, Akamine at first. Struck her out. A Kaylani curve, 2 down.
Kaylani with all those tools, so tough to lefties. It's the curveball on the outside corner. Look at the way she snaps that across her body. Late, sharp movement.
And now it's the senior, Raven Siobhan, who has struck out 3 times, struggling against the breaking ball away. She has the best batting average in Tennessee history. Stepping in here in the leadoff spot. And right to vest at short. A couple more Lady Vols stranded. Coming back with Brianna Terang and the big bopper, Lauren Chamberlain. Bottom of the 8th inning, Tennessee and Oklahoma extra innings. And a second chance here for OU to walk off with a win. Stymied tonight by Ellen Renfro, who has allowed just 2 hits and has struck out 10 against this potent OU battery. And she will have to take on 2 of their most lethal weapons. It's Callie Parsons to lead off, and then the disruptive Brianna Terang and Lauren Chamberlain, the top slugger in college softball this year. Chamberlain has had the hardest hit of the game, a double in the third that almost scored Terang. She was a third of the way home when the stop sign sent her scurrying back to third base.
Yeah, and that hit by Lauren Chamberlain was hit so square that it was on a line into the gap. If she'd gotten under that a little bit, that would have been a home run.
And by the way, a good stop sign. We all agree that was the correct play at that moment.
I think now Patty Gasso might do it differently if in the bottom of the 8th, seeing that it's all bagels across the board.
Foul ball. Siobhan, one down. This is just the Sooners' second extra inning game of the season. They have been so good at scoring a lot of runs. They had a 9-inning game back in February, a long, long time ago. And here's Terang, the fielder's choice and a strikeout. 115th pitch for Ellen.
And something you don't usually see with Brianna Terang is her chase the rise ball. And that's something I think a credit to Ellen Renfro won, is her being able to lure her into, even in this situation, you want to get on top of it, and Terang swinging through it.
That'll drift out of play. Arrived at Oklahoma as a softball player on a softball scholarship, a dual sports star. With speed to burn. Off the glove of Siobhan, right to Shipman, who backs her up and makes the play. The ricochet for the second out.
What a play from Madison Shipman. Watch it ricochet off the glove of the reaching Siobhan, and Shipman not only fields this, but throws it. Her momentum taking her away from first base, and she guns this down to first base to get Terang.
And that is huge, because if Terang is at first, what do you do with Lauren Chamberlain? You can't really pitch around her and potentially walk her, because if so, you'd move Terang down to second base. Now with first base empty, you can be very careful with Lauren Chamberlain.
And do you even pretend like you want to pitch her, or do you just give her first base?
I think it depends on how much you trust your pitcher. and being able to selectively pitch around Chamberlain. The key, though, too, is that Chamberlain is very good at hitting balls. So that
her home run against Michigan was a ball. Check swing. And covering the bag is Gibson. Takes the scoop from Brown. And a big break for Tennessee as they retire Chamberlain, and Renfro continues to roll in the circle, and the defense behind her, stellar.
And it has been a dominating pitching performance. Ellen Renfro getting it done for Tennessee. And for the Sooners, it's all Kaylani with the curveball on the outside corner, attacking the lefties and the righties. Both pitchers dominating this evening. Ricketts with 11 strikeouts, Renfro with 10.
And the lefties against the left-handed Ricketts have yet to reach base. They've struck out 8 times. The right-handers have fared slightly better. And it's a couple left-handers to lead off here in the top of the 9th inning. Dotson, Gibson, and Shipman due up. Renfro sitting pretty in the dugout. It's a dozen in a row retired by Ellen.
Leading off for Tennessee, number 33, Kent Johnson.
Check to short, Vest. Got her. One down. The one hit for Tennessee back in the 6th inning, Hannah Akamine. But some walks and an error helped them threaten in both the 5th and the 8th innings, but unable to punch one across. Gibson right back to Ricketts, reaches down for it. 2 out. Who's gonna blink first in game 1 of the championship series? Ellen, in the bottom half of the last inning, needed only 7 pitches, and now Ricketts, a couple of pitches and a couple outs. The hitter's getting a bit antsy, trying to make something happen. Shipman way out in front of the change. 2-2. Popped up to short, Vest. 3 up, 3 down. The heart of the order coming up for OU. Can Shelby Penley work her way out of a slump? Ricketts also will have a shot at winning it. 2 of the top scoring teams in the country this year have struggled to get one across. A tremendous pitcher's duel today. Ellen Renfro for Tennessee, Kaylani Ricketts for the Oklahoma Sooners. They've given up just 3 hits so far all the night. Beth Mullins along with Olympic gold medalist Jessica Mendoza and Michelle Smith. What has impressed you the most about what we've seen so far in game 1?
Honestly, and I know, but the pitching.
Pitchers
and
win.
honestly, and both sides. I mean, you got to give a huge credit to Ellen Renfro because of the intimidation factor. And we talked to her earlier today. She didn't seem intimidated. She went out today and went up against these OU hitters with a fierceness.
Yeah, and how about you, Michelle?
I think that for me, the way the defense has responded as well. There have been some key defensive plays, and they haven't had a lot of opportunities. So the fact that they are ready when called upon and are there for their pitchers, that's clutch as well.
Both pitchers over 100 pitches on the night. And Ellen Renfro has retired 12 in a row. She's been getting stronger deeper into the night here in Oklahoma City. Tennessee trying to win its first national championship. They were here in 07. They won game 1 and then lost games 2 and 3 to Arizona. The Oklahoma Sooners, national champs in 2000. They were here in the championship series last year, won game 1 and then lost 2 to Alabama. Georgia Casey, the number 2 hitter, is 0 for 3. Will pop up a ground out, a strikeout. Followed by Shelby Pendley and then Kaylani Ricketts. Just the 4th extra inning game in championship series history. And Tennessee was involved in one of the other ones in 2007. One of these Sooners would love to join Megan Langenfeld in history with a walk-off home run in extra innings. She did it for UCLA in 2010 in Game 1. Shelby Penley, your Big 12 Player of the Year, has struggled mightily at the plate. And that one will hop over Siobhan's head and out into left. Georgia Casey. And the game winner is on board.
Georgia Casey just doing a nice job with an inside pitch. She gets on top of it, uses the ground over the jumping Raven Siobhan. And this is what Georgia Casey does. She's a very simple hitter. She's not going to hit the ball out of the park. She's going to figure out a way to get herself on base.
First hit since the 4th inning for Oklahoma. And now Penley, the story in the series, 1 for 12. For the 360 power hitter on the year. And squaring to sacrifice, pulls it back 1-0.
I think it is very clear, especially bottom of the 9th inning, what you need to do for this situation is move this runner 60 feet.
Let's check in with Holly Rote.
Well, Beth, as you said, Shelby Penley is 1 for 12. Particularly difficult night last night when she was pinch hit for. She had visible emotion on her face in the dugout last night. It was a very difficult time. So what did she do? She came back to work. This morning, she drove down to Norman, spent time by herself in the batting cage trying to get her mind right. Patty Gasso said, I know she's feeling the pressure. She's the only newcomer on this Oklahoma team that is in the batting lineup for us. She wants to help. We'll see if she can make it happen tonight based on the work she put in this morning in the batting cage.
Well, it's interesting in this situation. The question is, if you do sacrifice her and you move Casey down to second, then does Kaylani Ricketts get the bat taken out of her hand? Because if I'm Tennessee, I'm walking Kaylani Ricketts. So it will be interesting to see what Patty Gasso decides to do here.
How about that? She has not laid down a sacrifice in her career.
Well, what's interesting to me is that not only she not laid down a sacrifice in her career, but she's showing a drag bunt, more of a base hit type bunt. So for someone who does not bunt very often, she's actually moving through the box, which makes it more difficult.
Penley drops it down and safe at first on the throwing error from Ellen Renfro.
And Renfro so strong in the circle all night long. She gets this comebacker, but you can see the way she kind of shot puts it over to Lauren Gibson, the second baseman covering. She just holds on to that and puts it over, trying to be too careful with that throw. So important for pitchers to throw overhand a couple times in the game. We're constantly underhand. You got to throw overhand so that you're ready when called upon.
Winning run in scoring position for Ricketts. Screwball outside, 1-0. 1 for 3 tonight. She's hitting .455 in the series. Right down Main Street, got it by 1-1. One and two on the breaking ball. Fouled out of play on the 130th pitch.
Well, and even after that error, the Ellen Renfro, she goes right back to the game plan, right back to attack mode, and goes right after Keilani Ricketts.
Struck her out. Got her with the drop. And what a response by Renfro after the error.
And it's all about attacking, like you said, Jessica. The drop ball moving away from Keilani. She tries to check it, but just cannot. And there's a lot of Sooner fans that feel like that right now.
Gets the first out. This is Brittany Williams. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Gets away from Akamine. On the wild pitch, an opportunity now for a fly ball to win it.
Well, this is a drop ball again on the outside corner. Ellen's hips a little bit too much in the way. And that's what happens when you get tired. Those hips close up. You lose a little bit of control. And again, Tennessee going to play the odds with the intentional walk to Williams to load up the bases so that they have the force play at home with one out.
Jessica Schultz. A couple of ground outs and a walk for the senior. Gasso has praised her leadership. Now all the younger players on this team look up to her. Bases are loaded, but they just need one here in the bottom of the ninth. Jessica Vest, the pinch runner for Williams at first. A couple of come on Jesses from Ricketts. Blocked by Akamine. Another block by Hannah in the dirt. 2-0.
Boy, and I know right now the drop ball is the pitch you want to go to keep the ball on the infield, give your defense a chance to come home. But Ellen is missing that pitch a little bit right now. To be expected 137 pitches into the game.
A single, an error, a wild pitch, and then the intentional walk to load him. Schultz, foul. Georgia Casey got things started. She's 60 feet away from ending this. Pendley at second, Williams at first. Renfro comes back with a couple of strikes.
And I think now that Renfro is back to even, Try to go back downstairs, low and inside with the drop ball.
Reaching for it to first, the throw to the plate. Akamine scoops it out of the dirt to record the second out. What a play by Akamine to dig it out of the dirt and keep the foot on the plate.
Well, Melissa Brown, you could just feel because of this next hop that jumps up on her. She rushes her throw, and Hannah Akamine keeping her foot on the plate, reaching to her right to make this play with the pressure and the game on the line. That is a big-time play by the catcher.
Now there's a play at any base with 2 outs. It's Destiny Martinez.
Martinez up. The middle infielders are still up inside the line, even with 2 outs. Respecting the speed.
0-2. Foul. Back into the screen. She's so nervous she can't even lift the camera to take a picture. 0-2 from Renfro. One and two. Another one fouled out of play. Game 1, best-of-3 championship series as the pitch count rises. Both teams would love to use these same 2 pitchers tomorrow. Both teams have a very good second option they can go to if need be tomorrow. A 1-2 to Martinez. Striker out. Renfro comes up huge with a drop ball in the bottom of the 9th. We stay scoreless in OKC.
Let's get you caught up on how we scored. Lauren Chamberlain in the 3rd inning hits a double, or the lack of scoring. Brianna Terrain coming around 3rd base, gets held up by Patty Gasso. Tennessee ends up getting out of the inning and then into the 4th. Raven Siobhan with a diving catch to hold Oklahoma. Madison Shipman, the first base runner of the game for Tennessee, gets picked off. The next 2 batters walk. Ricketts, 1-4-3 double play. They get out of the inning. And then into the 8th. Strikeout by Kaylani Ricketts. Huge out and a line out to Jessica Vest. And then following into the 9th inning, Melissa Brown with a huge play to Hannah Akamine. Holds onto the ball. And Ellen Renfro doing what she's done all game long. She did it big right there.
Scoreless into the 10th. Just 4 hits. And Renfro and Ricketts combining for 23 strikeouts on the night. They have both been masterful. And that's got a smile on the face of Olympic gold medalist winning pitcher Michelle Smith, while Olympic gold medalist hitter Jessica Mendoza wants to see some action.
Look at Ellen Renfro.
Love it.
Out in the bullpen, staying loose.
Working on the overhand throws. We talk about how important it is to stay sharp in the game when your arm goes underhand 137 times.
I like that they're like leaning her though right into the cinder blocks in the net to her right. You don't have to worry about that on the field.
Her sister Ivy playing first base there for her.
And she's still got a smile on her face. I mean, that was a huge strikeout she had, but I'll tell you what, that error looked to be what was going to be the game, and she just locked in and went right after him.
Foul ball down the first baseline. They have relished the role of underdog. She has shown moxie throughout this game when you're up against the two-time National Player of the Year, Kaylani Ricketts, and you are matching her pitch for pitch and shutting out one of the most potent lineups in college softball history. The numbers that OU has put up throughout the season.
And I think the thing that's so amazing about pitching duels like this is that it takes one mistake to end the game. And both these pitchers have done, as you mentioned, a masterful job of doing everything but that. Hitting the corners, getting the defense, and preventing that one mistake that comes over the white part of the plate that gets drilled out of the park.
And Ellen Renfro, after the throwing error in the ninth, she's out there making sure that doesn't happen again. One mistake could be the difference.
And this is a competitiveness that honestly we've covered Tennessee the last 3 years of her career, and not that we've never seen a true competitiveness from Ellen Renfro, but I don't think we've ever seen this side of her where she is just so locked in, focused. A lot of times Ellen and Ivy split games so commonly, but you can tell Ellen wants this. This is her game and she wants to finish it.
She's been playing her whole life with her sister, and Ivy is a senior in her final days in a Tennessee uniform. Full count to Cheyenne Tarango. 5, 6, and 7 here for Tennessee. One hit, that is all that Ricketts has allowed. She has run into some trouble with some walks. And speaking of a walk, there's another one. Here's Holly Rowe.
We're talking about Ellen Renfro's mental toughness she's starting to show here. One thing that Tennessee did in the offseason was train with a former Army and Navy SEAL in a program called The Program. He walked in, he said, sit down, shut up, and sit down. And she said that is where she learned that she could be a leader. She was pushed to the brink mentally and physically. She's showing the strength now that she helped gain in the offseason through that program.
She's making that guy proud tonight.
Well, talking to the weeklies about that program, they said it was surprising to see even some of our All-Americans crumble under the pressure of when, you know, you're physically and mentally exhausted.
Could be too vest, can't hang on, is able to salvage an out and touch the bag. Davin at first.
Jessica Vest, again, getting the ball off the heel of her glove, but she does a good job of hanging onto it and smartly avoids the throw as well, having to toss it over, not having a good hold on it. She just touches the bag and gets an out.
Melissa Brown, who had the throw to home for the force out in the bottom half of the ninth. The throw down on the steal attempt by Davin, and she's in safe. Go-ahead run in scoring position for Tennessee.
And I love the fact that Tennessee right now is aggressive. They are doing things, running off of changeups, trying to catch Jessica Schultz and company a little bit by surprise, but you know what? You've got to do that. National Championship Series on the line.
Especially because of how difficult it's been to just get 60 feet. When we're talking, we're in the 10th inning, and there's been a lack of movement from runners from base to base.
Just the third time they've had a runner at second base tonight.
And a credit right now to these lefties. I mean, we saw strikeouts galore earlier in the game, and just a dominance of Ricketts over these lefties. And right now they're putting the ball in play. They're making contact.
2-2 to Brown.
And the other thing I'm seeing too, Jess, is that the lefties are waiting on that changeup a little bit better. They're IDing it.
Yeah, Melissa Brown almost late on the changeup right there.
Fouls another one off. Check. Christy Cornwell says she was able to hold up. (3-2) from Keilani. Brown getting her swings in. This will be the 9th pitch of this at-bat. Going to make Keilani throw a 10th. It up, and that will find the screen. That's the longest postseason game in Oklahoma history. And Tennessee, back in the 2007 championship series, they played a 10-inning game and lost 1-0 to Arizona and Taryn Mowat. Fouled off.
What a bat right now for Melissa Brown. I mean, Keilani Ricketts is giving her everything she's got. Backdoor curve, drop curve, changeup, drop ball. And that's a lot of different pitches to handle, and Brown just fouling off, getting a piece of everything.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I see, the adjustment that she's making in this at-bat, is she's not over swinging. She's just trying to get the contact, and because of that, she is fouling stuff off. She hasn't gotten perfect barrel on ball, but she's been pretty darn close.
Fouls off another. It's 72 miles an hour, so Keilani still bringing the power.
Well, Ricketts still beating her on that drop curve, but the difference is Brown's just able to foul it into the crowd on the left side instead of miss it.
Chop to Keilani. Will make the throw to first as Davin now gets over to third base. Akamine has grounded out, singled, and walked.
The only hit for Tennessee on the shoulders of Hannah Akamine, and she did it simply, as you said, Michelle. Just as Melissa Brown was doing, just getting to contact. Hannah figured that out back in the 6th.
I think this is another one of those situations I'm sure Patty Gasso's talking over with the battery. Keilani, how do you feel? How are we going to pitch this particular at-bat?
Here's Holly Rowe.
Melissa Brown just ran back to the dugout after that long at-bat, forcing Keilani Ricketts to throw a lot of pitches. Karen Weekly, her coach, said, hey, that's a base hit in our book. Way to go. Way to have a long at-bat. They loved what she just did at the plate.
And not only that, she ended up moving her teammate down 60 feet. So now an error, a wild pitch or pass ball, potentially scores a run. Those little things are what help win championships. And I think this is a smart move for Oklahoma.
They will walk Akamine to face the number 9 hitter. It's been Tori Lewis as well as the pinch hitter Rainey Gaffin. And Tennessee will go back to Lewis, who struck out twice. Game-winning RBI against UW the other night, gang. Tori Lewis, box 7. So here comes Tori Lewis. She's been a hero already in this tournament. How about on Saturday in a scoreless game? In the bottom of the 7th inning, delivering the game-winning run to score Whitney Hammond. And here she is coming up again with a runner on third. The junior from Chattanooga, who is in the lineup primarily for her defense, but is batting .500 in the postseason. And quickly falls behind 0-2.
And now with 2 strikes, it'll be interesting to see if they send Hannah Akamine down to second, try to put the defense in motion, draw throw, try to bait the defense into doing something.
Ricketts away, 1-2.
It's also difficult for the middle infielders to get to second right now because both of them are in front of the baseline.
And Ricketts doesn't give him a chance. Strikeout number 12 for Kaylani, and now it switches back over to OU's bats, including Lauren Chamberlain due up third. And welcome back to the Women's College World Series. We're going old school. Forget about all the scoring. Take you back to Michelle Smith's days when there were nothing but a bunch of bagels in the deli right now. To the bottom of the 10th, just 4 hits allowed by Kaylani Ricketts and Ellen Renfro. And Tennessee fans, you've been here before, back in 2007 against Arizona. And Taryn Mowat beat Monica Abbott 1-0 in Game 2 of the championship series that Arizona would go on to win. That was the Cats' number 9 hitter, Adrian Acton, scoring their number 3 pinch runner, Danny Rodriguez, with the game-winning run in the 10th inning. And Tennessee fans will forever claim that Shannon Depking tagged her out at home. And Arizona fans say, no, the fingertips got in there. Yeah.
Fingertip, long fingers. I remember that game. That was my first year calling a game at the World Series.
This will be a memorable night, too, regardless of what side you're on. Ellen Renfro, 146 pitches, 12 strikeouts, just the 3 hits. 8, 9, and 1 coming up. And the Sooners, for the 4th time, have a chance to walk off with a win. Parsons to Renfro, scoops it over to first. How about that? She's practicing after the error in the last inning. She's out in the bullpen working on her short game, and she makes the play to first, 1 down.
Let's talk about pitchers. Good fielding pitchers. You make your job so much easier in that circle. You go back, look over history. Jenny Finch, Lisa Fernandez, Kaylani Ricketts,
Michelle Smith.
Wow. That's way back.
Here's lightning in a bottle for OU, Brianna Turang. Off the glove of Renfro and through. And the game winner is on base for Lauren Chamberlain.
Brianna Terang getting on top of this drop ball. It just comes right over the middle of the plate. Does a good job of hitting it right up the middle. You see the glove of Ellen Renfro just miss it.
A single back in the third. She's 1 for 4. The last time up, a check swing down to first base. Her teammates love the fact that when she steps up, she can change the game in an instant, and we've seen her do it over the last 2 years.
And one of the things, even talking to her this week, she said, one thing that I can do as a hitter that gives me confidence is you will not ever be able to beat me twice on the same pitch. And that's something for a lot of hitters, especially a young hitter. Sophomore in college, faced so much good pitching, and for her to be able to sit there and say, you know what, you might beat me once, but you won't get me twice.
Chamberlain, fly ball to left. That will not allow Terang to advance. 2 down. Georgia Casey singled in the 9th, forced out at home after working her way around the bases. From Sydney, Australia, spotted by a coach over there who came actually to work with Patty Gasso's coaching staff at a camp here at OU. And we talked earlier about what kind of athlete Patty Gasso likes to recruit and the commitment they have. And we asked George about that earlier. So basically you left home, flew halfway across the world, and decided to live in Norman, Oklahoma, just so you could compete against the best in the world. And she pretty much said, yep, that's why I'm here. Like, just loves to play.
Like, of course. Wouldn't anyone do that?
You got to do it in the Australian accent, though.
Good day. Be a real good day for her with a hit right here. With Terang at first, the game-winning run.
And Tennessee going to be on guard to make sure that Terang, if she does run, they have an opportunity to try and put a good play on her.
Terang on the run, the throw down, and Brianna has run herself into scoring position.
And I like that. It's a smart move by Patty Gasso. Look at the jump Terang gets. She checks, so it's a run and hit. She's making sure there's no contact made, although there's 2 outs, so it doesn't matter. She's going to keep going anyway. But look at the slide to the backside of the bag, makes herself as small as possible, and then just hangs on.
One throw. The rise 1-2. Casey, fly ball down the line. That could be trouble in fair territory. And drifting away from the Tennessee defense.
And Melissa Brown goes back on this. Hardest ball to catch is over your head, the way she tries to play that. That's a ball that has to be caught.
Now Casey's got a second chance. Another pop-up, this time Brown in fair territory, gloves it. 10 complete in game 1 of the championship series, and we are all tied up.
To win a national championship for the state of Oklahoma, it's for Oklahoma.
getting to represent your state in your state on the biggest stage that you want to be at for softball is just the greatest honor.
This team, they want to do it for the state of Oklahoma.
And Kaylani Ricketts showing why she gets the K's against the lefties. It's that curveball that she hammers on the outside corner. She'll bring it back inside with the backdoor curve, but it's primarily been the pitch away that the lefties cannot catch up with. Kaylani Ricketts, so much power and speed. The lefties of Tennessee struggling against the big left-hander for Oklahoma. 12 strikeouts on the evening in this championship game. She has been stellar. 9 of those strikeouts, 9 of those 12 strikeouts against left-handed hitters.
And they've got 5 of their 9 batters in this lineup are lefty, so it's already the odds against them.
You don't often see the top of this Tennessee lineup go 0 for 12, and here they come again. Raven Siobhan, 3 strikeouts for just the 2nd time in her career. She has never been struck out 4 times in a game. In her last at-bat in the 8th, she did get some contact and lined out to short. Talked about her ability to stay even keeled, not too high, not too low. Don't let the last at-bat affect her. Ellen. One hopper to vest. And Siobhan is 0 for 5.
Now batting right fielder number 33, Johnson.
The numbers for Ricketts: 15 on the ground, 12 strikeouts in what has now become the longest game in championship series history as we are into the 11th. And our 2 pitchers combining for just 5 hits and 24 strikeouts. The longest game in World Series history is a 25-inning affair. We know this because on Saturday night we watched a 15-inning game.
I had to go back in the record books and see where we matched up.
And a base runner here for Tennessee.
Kat Dotson just does a beautiful job of getting this ball right in front of home plate. It gets up, elevated into the sky. No play for really anybody in the infield. You see Kaylani initially go after it. Penley not there in time, but once that ball hit the ground and went that high in the air, Dotson was already safe.
And here's the 3rd lefty in a row. Lauren Gibson, the 2-time national team member, a teammate of Kaylani Ricketts, is 0 for 4 and hasn't gotten the ball out of the infield. Gibson reaches out for it, and that will drop in front of Martinez. Gibson has her first hit of the night.
You just talk about an adjustment for Lauren Gibson. She takes the drop curveball that's left a little bit more over the middle, but she goes down, she gets it. Destiny Martinez has a chance to catch this. It handcuffs her up on the glove of Lauren Gibson. Her 5th at bat against Kaylani Ricketts, figures out the tough pitch against lefties.
And after 1 hit through 10 innings, 2 singles in a row here in the 11th. And the good news for the Lady Vols, they've got a couple right-handers coming up. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, as you mentioned, Lauren Gibson has been a teammate of Kaylani Ricketts last summer on the Team USA. She said getting to know Kaylani has really helped her not be as intimidated against her in the batter's box. Kaylani looks so mean. She's got this one really nasty furrowed brow that looks so intimidating in the circle. But she said Kaylani and Jackie Traynor were the biggest goofballs on our team. That's taken away some of the mystery when I step into the box.
Well, there's a picture of the two of them in their USA softball days last summer. On opposite sides now, Madison Shipman 0 for 3 with a walk. Ricketts struck her out on a curveball in the 7th. Shipman out to center field, back to the wall, and Madison Shipman goes yard. A 3-run home run for Tennessee.
Madison Shipman takes a backdoor curveball that ends up right over the middle of the plate, and Shipman unleashes straight out to center field, and I think all 3 base runners sprinted around with their arms in the air the entire way home.
Well, we talked about the one mistake, and when it shows up, who can capitalize, and Maddie Shipman did just that.
Kaylani Ricketts with 1 loss all year. She's 34-1, and now Tennessee's got her in a 3-0 jam in the top of the 11th inning. Ricketts out of the circle. Makes the play to Chamberlain, 2 down.
And Akamine rallying her pitcher, Ellen Renfro. They've never needed her more.
Can Renfro continue? Just 4 hits allowed. And the shutout through 10. She will have to deal with Oklahoma in the bottom of the 11th. And their 3, 4, 5 hitters. Ivy's moved over a little closer to Ellen to try and keep her loose. Another hit for the Lady Vols. 1 hit through 10 innings, and they've got 4 here in the 11th.
It's not even just the fact that they're hits, but the fact is they're hit very hard. Gibson lining to center. Shipman over the fence in center, and now Melissa Davin crushing that ball so hard to left field that Brianna Terang almost couldn't handle it.
And guys, the one thing that I noticed right away is the changeup has disappeared. They've not used that pitch in quite a while, and when Kaylani was using that pitch, Tennessee was off balance.
Heavy favorites coming into the postseason. They have rolled through the opposition to get to the championship series, the top seed Oklahoma. And Tennessee told us today they're going to come out aggressive and they're going to try and stand in toe-to-toe. And they've got the lead in extras on the 3-run home run from Madison Shipman. After the lefties got on, the righties finished it off.
So Keilani throws a changeup to Melissa Brown, but it's a ball. And so Tennessee doesn't have to respect it. She's not throwing two back-to-back, and she's not throwing it for a strike. And when that pitch disappears, either because it's not called or not thrown for a strike to be respected, it changes the entire game plan.
1-2 to Brown. Vest goes the short way. Ricketts will have a chance to hit in the bottom of the 11th off of Ellen Renfro, who for the first time tonight has the lead with 2 on. Madison Shipman with one of the biggest hits in Tennessee history.
We're definitely the underdog. They're good, we know it.
The pressure's more on them than it is on us.
We're going to have to play our best to beat them.
Oklahoma's a great team, and it's going to be a really good series.
What a night here in Oklahoma City. Game 1 of the best-of-3 championship series. And Ellen Renfro, the game of her life through 10 innings. And if she can get 3 outs, Tennessee will take the opener and stun the top-seeded Oklahoma Sooners. Madison Shipman, a 3-run home run for the big-time underdogs who have relished that role coming in against the mighty Sooners. And the coaching staff, well, they've gone Hollywood. They've talked about the movie 300. They talked about Hoosiers and Miracle on Ice and anything they could come up to get their players ready for tonight's game. And it took a while to break through, but the 3 spot in the top of the 11th, and now Renfro will try and close it out. Good news for Sooner fans is they have come down from 3 runs in a game this season, and they rallied to beat Baylor back in April. And other good news is 3, 4, and 5 are coming up. Including the pitcher, Keilani Ricketts, who just watched the home run ball sail over the center field fence. Gets it by Penley, 1 down.
Back from Oklahoma, number 10, Keilani Ricketts.
Here comes Keilani Ricketts. A single, a couple of strikeouts, and a pop-up. Fouls that one down the first base line. Ricketts, the high fly ball, Brown, and now Gibson loses it in fair territory, and Ricketts to second base as she kept on running.
And it looks like a routine pop-up, but the wind has been blowing out all night long, and you can see the way Gibson is struggling with that. That ball was in foul territory and came back fair. And the smart part is that Kaylani Ricketts did not give up on it and kept running and finds herself at second base.
Conference for Tennessee in the circle. You can see their hair and their bows, how that wind is really picking up. If Williams can get on base, that would bring the tying run to the plate. She has struck out twice, grounded out, and walked.
Well, if you're Tennessee in the situation, you're looking for outs, no matter where the ball's put in play.
Oklahoma 0 for 6 tonight with a runner in scoring position. To Williams. 2-1. Second time this postseason that Ellen Renfro has pitched into the 11th inning. 13 strikeouts in a regional win. She's got 13 more strikeouts today on a much bigger stage. Williams will drive in Ricketts with extra bases. And the stand-up double will bring the tying run to the plate.
Williams pulls an outside pitch. She gets barrel on it, finds this ball into the gap. Ricketts able to come around from second and score easily, while Williams places this ball into right.
The error on the dropped pop-up, which would have been the second out of the inning. Ricketts gets on base, the double to bring her in. And here once again, with a big opportunity, is Jessica Schultz, the best home run hitter in Big 12 history. Erica Sampson on to pinch run out at second base. That is the second time that Williams, the DP, has been run for, so she cannot re-enter. Schultz, a couple of ground outs, a fielder's choice, and a walk tonight. Misses low, 1-0. '61 career homers, the most in league history. Fouls out back, 1-1. Over to first, stepping on the bag is Melissa Brown to get the second out. And now the bottom three in the lineup, the lefty slappers, so you don't have to deal with the home run power, but now you've got to deal with the pressure on the defense and the speed.
Well, and it was Destiny Martinez. It was her at bat that came up in the 9th with the bases loaded. Oklahoma's biggest chance to score. And it was the strikeout that Ellen Renfro was able to get on the off-speed drop against Martinez. What was the biggest moment up until now.
This powerful Oklahoma lineup all year long. 8 runs per game, 8 hits per game, and that gaudy batting average. But just the 1 run on 6 hits into the 11th inning tonight. And now it's all about getting some timely ones. Foul ball to Brown at first. Goes away, 1-1. And now OU down to its final strike. Just missed it, 2-2. Ralph Weekly was headed to the post-game presser. Out to center field and a deep fly ball, and it gets over the head of Tori Lewis. Heading for third is Martinez, the throw, safe. Her first triple of the season. That close.
Destiny Martinez takes a pitch up in the zone. The outfield is pulled in, and she finds a huge hole over Tori Lewis in center field.
So now Callie Parsons can tie it up with Martinez 60 feet away. A 3-run home run for Madison Shipman in the top of the 11th, and Oklahoma trying to respond.
Ellen Renfro just continues to come right at that strike zone.
It's amazing to me how this game works. You go 11 innings with nothing, or 10 innings with nothing, and then in the same inning, that's when both offenses decide, all right, let's let loose.
Parsons ties it up, extra bases, and Callie Parsons is headed for third. The throw, got her at third. The third out of the inning, but Oklahoma doesn't seem to mind. They even it up. Scrape keeping together 3 runs here in the bottom of the 11th. Scoreless through 10, still tied through 11 with some crooked numbers up. Scoreless into the 11th inning, and Madison Shipman a 3-run home run for Tennessee. And things were looking good for the Lady Vols, but then the bottom of the order, extra bases, and that tied it up, even though Parsons would deliver here and try to leg it out for third. And she was the game-winning run that ended up getting thrown out at third base. So good news, bad news for OU. You come back and tie it up. And then Parsons is making the third out at third base with Turang up next. 5 hits for both teams through the first 10 innings, 8 hits combined in that wild 11th. They were down to their last strike, and they stay alive.
And that crazy pop-up that Kaylani Ricketts hits that gets mishandled due to the wind is what starts it all off in that 11th inning for Oklahoma.
Well, you got to think now for both teams, their hitters feeling like they've turned a corner here against the 2 pitchers that had stymied them throughout the first 10 innings. Change up from Ricketts, 1-2. Akamine reaches out for it, right to Casey, 1 down. From the highest of highs to the lows for Tennessee, a 3-run lead. Nothing is safe against this Oklahoma squad. Tori Lewis, 3 strikeouts tonight. Tennessee has entered uncharted territory, the longest game they've ever played now into the 12th. And the longest game in championship series history here in Oklahoma City, in this the 9th year of the best-of-3 format. I'd like to tell you it's the longest game in the last 48 hours, but that would not be accurate. Right back to Ricketts. You get the sense the Sooners want to make quick work here so they can get back to hitting, with the top of the order coming up with Brianna Turang starting it off, followed by Chamberlain.
And it will be interesting to see who takes the circle for Tennessee when they head back out. Will it be Ellen or will it be Ivy?
Reaching for it is Raven Siobhan, who's 0 for 5 tonight. Ivy, by the way, has not left the dugout to go out to the bullpen to warm up. Ricketts with the strikeout, and the Sooners with the momentum. Rallying from a 3-run deficit in the 11th, can now win it in the 12th. Kaylani Ricketts and the Oklahoma Sooners were down 3-0 in the bottom of the 11th, and they come back to tie it up. And now they've got the momentum heading into the 12th. We've had to shorten our scoreboard for you there. 1 through 3, the first 3 innings, take our word for it, nobody got one in. Renfro, fantastic, 13 strikeouts. Ricketts up to the task, 13 Ks herself. And Tennessee had the chance. They had the lead on the Shipman home run, trying to become the lowest seeded team to ever win the championship. And the Sooners down to their final strike, able to come back and tie it. And now it's Turang, Chamberlain, and Casey due up. And the sense among the Sooner faithful here tonight that this could be it. We'll be back to play game 2 tomorrow night. Just a question of whether or not we're going to play through here on the finish of game 1.
Could be a doubleheader.
Turang got a single in the 10th. How about the 7 and 8 hitters? Martinez with a triple over the head of an outfielder, and then Parsons with the double in the gap out in left center to drive in the tying runs. Turang, fair ball. She'll head for second to throw, not in time.
Brianna Turang just finding the perfect spot right over the head of Siobhan, but the speed that we have seen from her all game long. Contact to second. This is probably less than 4 seconds that she slides into second base. How often do you see a double that was a ground ball over the third baseman's head?
Now with first base open and Lauren Chamberlain up. Akamine, you can see her, the catcher, looking over to the dugout. Do we walk her? They do not. Chamberlain deep to left. Back and gone. Lauren Chamberlain, the walk-off. 2-run home run. Wins it for OU.
With first base open, Lauren Chamberlain coming up to bat. She had not had a hit since the 3rd inning, but she had said so many times, you will not be able to beat me with the same pitch. And Ellen Renfro coming back to that zone. And Chamberlain making her pay.
Oh, Ellen throwing a great game, but you could just tell those last couple innings just didn't have the snap and the movement. Obviously exhausted with the high pitch count, but both pitchers phenomenal.
6 extra base hits in the 11th and 12th innings for the Sooners. They were down 3-0, down to their last strike, and they come back to tie it. And now Chamberlain, the walk-off to win it, her 3rd home run of the World Series.
Ellen going down and in, and Chamberlain, watch her get underneath this pitch. Not only connect to it, but she gets under it, and with her backside following through, skies this just over left field.
The 30th home run of the season for Chamberlain. She becomes just the second woman in history with a pair of 30 home run years, joining Laura Espinoza. And that one just stayed fair in the reaction of Patty Gasso and the thrilling comeback victory. Down to the field and Holly Rowe.
Well, Lauren, your team had not been into extra innings very often this season. How did the tension start to mount for you guys when they kept pushing you to the limit?
Man, we're just out here right now. Nothing's stopping us. That's our motto. We've gotten this far, been through it all. We didn't come this far to get stopped right now. Props to Tennessee. Great game. I'm excited for tomorrow's game, but I'm so proud of my team right now. I'm proud.
You hadn't had a hit since the third inning. What was different during that at-bat?
I was just trying to be short. Honestly, I wasn't trying to be the big hero. I really was just trying to make an adjustment, put the ball in play, and I knew she was going to come in with that screwball, and I just got my hands in on it, and it worked out.
Tell me how Destiny, you're down to your very last strike, how those bottom of the order hitters really kept you guys in this game.
They've been doing that all year, so it's not something new. So proud of them. When we think we're down to our last out, as long as we have an out to work with, we're going to make something happen.
It's a long night for you guys, a long night for Kaylani. She threw a lot tonight. How do you come back stronger tomorrow?
Get the rest that we can right now. I know we're kind of on a high, but just get home, get some rest, study up more on Tennessee, and just come back ready to play.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Holly. Lauren Chamberlain, a walk-off two-run home run. And game one goes to the Sooners. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 Eastern on ESPN for game two of the championship final. And Oklahoma a win away from a national championship. Coming up next, Nation at Night, presented by Toyota. With our entire ESPN crew, Holly Rowe, Michelle Smith, Jessica Mendoza, I'm Beth Mowens. We can only hope for more of the same excitement tomorrow night.